so back. Hello,
We're
everyone.
so back right
How
now.
you doing? Today
I'm
we're
doing pretty
here.
well.
Well, I'm asking the audience how they're doing, not you.
Oh.
But
All
yeah,
right,
you. How are you doing, Rob? You doing okay?
I'm doing pretty well. I
Okay.
got I got back
So
from
back.
seeing
Hello,
Superman
everyone. How you
for the
doing?
fourth time.
Today we're here. Well, I'm asking the
Last
audience.
night. I previously said in my video that I watched it 3 times, but I watched it a fourth time last night. And you know what? I'm of the opinion that it might be a good movie. Uh, I'm
Just
starting to
maybe.
think that the movie's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, just a little bit good. I'm not gonna lie. But what did you think of the movie?
I liked it a lot. Um.
There we go.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it is very fun. But I wouldn't put it like in terms of James Gunn, it's very much not my favorite. My be kind of low on my James Gunn
I, th-
list, honestly.
I think in terms of James Gunn movies, I'd say Guardians 3 is probably my favorite.
Mm.
Um, I think that's like a top tier super, like that's in my top five, top three probably. And then after that, I'd probably say I'd probably say a lot of the Guardians movies are in the top five, in terms of like James Gunn. And then like last place would probably be Guardians 1, maybe? I don't know. Maybe Superman. I'm not gonna lie.
If
I'm
I
not quite sure.
were to rank, it would be Guardians 2 and 3 at the top. I like 2 more, but they're both just as good as each other, in my opinion. Um, and then the Suicide Squad. Then
Oh yeah, I completely
probably
forgot about that.
Superman, and then Guardians 1, probably.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that I completely forgot the Suicide Squad came out. I'm not even gonna lie.
Good movie. Good movie.
I think that
I think I've cried at every single James Gunn movie. I think that's pretty impressive.
I the only one I don't think I've cried at is Suicide Squad, but that's because at the time I was like fucking 12 when that movie came out.
No, you
Um
weren't. That wasn't that long ago. It was 2021. That was 4 years ago. You were 14.
Yeah, I think yeah. COVID made me like lose sense of all time. I'm not gonna lie,
Okay.
because Suicide Squad came out during like peak COVID era.
Hmm.
So I completely forgot. I completely forgot that it came out in 2021. I thought it came out earlier. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no,
And
2021.
then
It was the first movie I saw back in theaters after lockdown. Which is funny because the last movie I saw in theaters was also a DC movie. It was Birds of Prey, so came full
I
circle.
can't remember. I can't remember any of the movies I've seen. Um, I can't remember any of the movies I've seen in theaters during COVID because it was all just kind of a blur. I do remember seeing Suicide Squad, but I don't remember seeing anything else from
Hmm.
that period. Um, would we count Batman as
A
COVID
COVID
era
movie?
for
Yeah.
movies?
Hmm. It was 2022, right? By that point, I think it was like everything was already back to normal, at least with theaters. So I don't know if I would count it. By that point, at least,
Uh,
like at least in Brazil, like theaters were already like back to normal, and that was even after like Top Gun Maverick as well. I think, right?
oh yeah, Top Gun Maverick came out like early that year, didn't it?
Think
I
so.
completely forgot I saw that in theaters. I saw
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's probably why. But um yeah, I guess I guess I should we should get started on I guess different parts of the movie, but I think I kind of like okay, so I haven't seen like a proper Superman movie in theaters since like Man of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
and
I mean,
I'm
there
not gonna
hasn't
lie,
been a
did not
Superman
like
movie since Man of Steel.
well that's I mean unless you like to count the Zack
BVS,
Snyder
yeah,
Justice League,
BVS.
yeah, BVS or that one. I mean, did the Snyder Cut get released in the? I don't think it did. It
I
only got
don't think
released
it
on Max,
did.
didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No. Yeah,
Now it's
so
back to being
I've only
called
seen
HBO
the
Max, by the way. So yeah.
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why they they tried so hard to get that name to work because HBO was already a fine enough. It was already a fine enough name. I don't know why they wanted to simplify it. It's with all these companies trying to simplify the names of and their logos of just the companies, and it's just really weird. But no, I like Superman was like probably the only Superman movie I saw at the time, uh, other than the original, which I saw a couple months ago. And I'm not gonna lie, I really liked the original. I'd never seen the original before that, and I saw it immediately after seeing the James Gunn trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what everyone talks about when they talk about Superman. This is the character that they're like ranting about. Because before I always thought he was just some emotionless beast that that no one like. I think everyone just found boring and lame. And whenever someone would talk about, oh yeah, I like Superman a lot. He's a really cool character. Like he's the coolest character ever. I'd just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just I'd have no idea like what they meant by that. I'd never like even with the Batman comics I had read, I usually wouldn't really pay too much attention to Superman's parts because I was just like, it's probably really boring and lame. I was very closed-minded. I was not willing to accept Superman as my ideal, as like a good character. I was just like, yeah, he's probably bad. I'm not gonna pay too much attention to it. So when I saw the announcement for this movie, oh, it was so good. It was so good. I I think the one thing I can appreciate this movie is just how much Superman likes to do good, even if he fucks up often. When doing, said good. I think there's a lot to cover about Superman in this movie. In all honesty, I can't say too much about the other characters. I think
I mean, other than Mr.
when
Terrific and Lois, Superman is the well,
yeah
Mr. Terrific, Lois, and Superman are the only ones that are like actually characters. The rest are just like kind of vehicles for the plot, or just like establishing stuff for the rest of the universe.
yeah, I think I a lot of people say that the vehicle not the vehicle, sorry, the the characters are a bit overcrowded. I can understand where that's coming from. I personally disagree because I don't think like I think that all the characters that are set up and established and shown throughout the movie are fine. Like they don't overtake Superman, overtake his presence throughout the movie. I think that everyone who gets established pretty well, except for like one or two people. I think that Jimmy Olsen is a character I don't really care for
Mm-hmm.
still after all these years because I don't particularly think he was characterized very well. He's just kind of like a sex, kind of like a little bit of a sex pest.
Well, he's not that.
kind of
He's just like he's
he's just a riz master
yeah. Well,
kind
like
of
women seem to really be into him, even though he's not like that attractive. Like that,
conventionally attractive.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, which I mean, I thought that was funny, and I like a few moments he has with Lois, but like it's kind of weird when you see like a Superman movie with Jimmy Olsen, and Jimmy Olsen is like he doesn't interact with Clark like at all. Like I think he has like
barely
two
ever.
lines of dialogue between the two. It's kind of crazy.
They have like a little playful fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like a playful fight, and then they just that's kind of it. Like after that, they don't really talk with each other that much, and it's so weird because it's a Superman movie, and since it's a Superman movie, you would think that Jimmy Olsen would have more to do with Superman and Lois as characters, and he does have like a direct affiliation with the plot. It's just that he doesn't have anything to do with like Superman and Lois like literally. But he's doing his own he's doing his own thing, I'd say. Like he's still doing stuff. It's just that I I wish we were given a bit more characterization when it comes to his, when it comes to his character. I'd say everyone else though is pretty good. I mean, the only ones that aren't really established as well as the introductory characters, but I don't really mind too much about that because they're supposed to be introductory characters where they're obviously going to get expanded upon and uh you know continued throughout the universe. So it's really just dependent on how well they're characterized in the future, which I think they will be. I mean, like in a Superman movie, I don't really care too much if a person named Hawk Girl gets developed. I only care about Superman's development throughout the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
But
yeah, I mean, Hawkgirl was a little disappointing. Because she
yeah,
she was barely anything. And I mean, it was kind of funny
she
that she
she
got to
killed like
kill Netanyahu. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's very funny because we discussed earlier that she's also pro-Israel. So
Yeah,
just
Isabella Merced is a Zionist. It's a whole thing. So it was funny to think about.
yeah, it's funny just to see like, oh, okay, that's what that's that's how it works. Okay, there, and of course it's cool seeing other people from from James Gunn's previous movies just
Mm.
come back. Like Nathan Fillion, for example, plays Guy Gardner. He's pretty good. Like I'd say he's characterized decently. Um, I feel like you get enough of an impression of what the character is like without needing too much time to develop him. Like he's obviously a bit of a narcissist and a little bit of an asshole. Um, and I think that's pretty good for what we get with him.
Mm.
Other than that, I would say that that's pretty much it for the side characters, right? There's not really many side characters to go through in the movie, other than just Hawk Girl. Oh wait, there is Mr. Terrific. I was kind of forgetting about him.
How
He
did
he
you
gets a
forget
lot of
about the
character
best
development.
one?
The best one. I was kind of going through the motions like, oh yeah, so we have this one. Oh yeah, I forgot about the really good one.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Terrific is a terrific character. Uh, pun very much intended. I he's developed so much to the point where I feel like he's going to be getting a project very soon. Because they kind of seem to be headlining him in that direction.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
it seemed James Gunn mentioned that there are plans for like a James Olsen TV show and the Mr. Terrific TV show. So, I mean, I would be down for a Mr. Terrific show, honestly.
I don't know what you'd do about like considering a Jimmy Olsen TV show.
I
I'm
mean,
guessing it would be like
I,
him reporting on different villains throughout the DC universe.
I mean, it could just be like a very low stakes drama at the I was gonna say the Daily Bugle, the Daily Planet. I don't know,
But it's all I get them both confused a lot often as well. But yeah, I don't know. I
like some
I think it's up in the air
investigative
what the
drama of him like breaking some story, and you can use some, to establish like the lower stakes, like boots to the ground, world building of the DCU in that way. Like some Batman villains or something, that are more street level. Like that could be fun. And it could
yeah.
help tease like Spider-Man and everything.
I think that I think it would be pretty funny if like if it wasn't just street level for some reason. Like I only imagine it would be street level unless it was unless they want to do something big to set up a new villain within the DC universe. I'd imagine that's what they'd use the Jimmy Olsen show for, to just establish new villains and everything. Like how they did in Creature Commandos with like
Yeah.
setting up Batman in that universe and like a Gotham City.
Yeah, I mean, I think the
But
difference with Creature Commandos is that was very much like it was telling like still a story that functions without like the rest of the universe. Like it's obviously it's establishing shit. I mean, Baravia is literally the country in Creature Commandos. Um,
yeah,
and it comes back in Superman, but like that kind of works on its own. If you're just doing it to establish villains, then I think it's a little shit. So I don't know. I think it could be interesting to just like have characterization for Jimmy Olsen, um, and maybe see a little bit more of Lois and Superman in the background. I mean, obviously they're bigger stars, but if they're gonna do a Jimmy Olsen show, they kind of have to include Clark and Lois. So yeah,
Oh, they absolutely have to include Clark and Lois unless they introduce like a kind of contrived way to get them
yeah,
out of the way, like he's just in another country, like in another city or another country or something reporting on these people.
mm-hmm.
Like that's the kind of the only way you could avoid having to pay that much money for the star power. I mean, from what I saw online, uh Superman and Lois were getting paid like significantly less than Lex's actor, so maybe the only re the only reason as to like I took like one look at chat and it fucking threw me off guard. Um the only reason like I guess the only reason why it's so low is because they'll be introducing Clark and Lois more often and like, you know, other things like like the Jimmy Olsen show or, you know, Superman, yeah, just like maybe Superman 2. I know that he's doing Superman 2 because he's talked about his contract for doing Superman 2.
Mm.
But I don't, yeah, when it comes to any other projects, it's all up in the air because it really just depends on how much they're willing to invest in like other TV shows or
Yeah.
anything like that
But it's
because
the kind of thing as
you
well
know,
where it's like they've proven they can make stuff like that that's successful with the Penguin show, right? Because
oh
they
yeah,
got Colin
absolutely.
Farrell back, who's fairly expensive, and a lot of other big actors in that show, and it's in the Batman universe, and just establishing like some more like ground level stuff without even including Batman. So, and establishing the world building between films. So I don't know. I think they can make it work with the DCU as well. I think the Penguin show was like a big like proof of concept for them to show like, yeah, the DCU can work like this with the TV shows, and we should spend this much on making these shows because they can be popular as long as they're well made, which the Penguin very much was. I mean, it's getting a lot of award buzz as well. So yeah.
Well, that's the thing because I originally like saw the Penguin. I was like, a Penguin show? What the fuck are they doing over there?
Hmm.
And then I watched the first episode. I was like, yeah, okay, okay. I understand the vision now. I can see the proof of concept.
Yeah.
Carry me away, Colin Farrell. And I'm kind of in that same stage with the Jimmy Olsen show as proof of concept. Or hello, Malik Pierre Lewis. I'm sorry, I didn't pronounce your name. I probably butchered it terribly, but uh. I think when it comes to like Jimmy Olsen show or Mr. Terrific, I'm currently in that stage of really, what the fuck are they gonna do with that? I mean, Mr. Terrific, I think you can do a lot more. I think it's easier to braid around, but I think when it comes to Jimmy Olsen, it's a bit harder to write, I'd say. But I think there's a lot you can do with it. I think there's a big vision that you can get with the Jimmy Olsen show or
Hmm.
Mr. Terrific in that for that matter. I'm just interested to see where it goes. I'm in that stage of the Penguin and like I was for the Penguin, where it's just like I'm still a little bit unsure when it comes to those projects specifically, but I still have a little bit of faith.
Jeff is so stupid.
um
But yeah. I mean, I kind of get it.
yeah.
There is more to chew on with a Mr. Terrific show. Like, you can see where it would go as him being a Justice Gang member, than if you were to make a Jimmy Olsen show. But I also just like, I love the idea of exploring the like investigative type of shit with Jimmy Olsen. I like when they get these dramas about like like street level stuff, and it could just be like a normal like like reporter type show, which there are a few like that, of like breaking stories and everything, except it's in the DCU. Like, part of what I really want out of the DCU is them like doing stuff that is like like using different genres, but they're all in the same universe. So just like doing these different types of stories, but they all connect in like maybe not in tone, not necessarily in tone, but just like they are part of the same universe. And so it's like, instead of just doing the MCU where it's like every movie has the same tone and the same vibe, which is why I'm very excited for the Clayface movie, especially because it's written by Mike Flanagan. But yeah.
Oh yeah, my goat. Yeah, I think that's the main problem that the trap that the MCU fell into, because once it kind of started getting its groove going, it didn't really need to innovate all that much because, they had a winning formula there. So why
Yeah.
do different genres of things? I think because of the state that the DCU is in at the moment,
Mhm.
it can just experiment and do whatever the fuck it wants. And I think that's really good because, Marvel's never done anything like that before. So I feel like you could, like, make movies for, uh children and audiences alike, like, Superman, and you can make the Clayface movie, which will probably end up being an R8, like an R16 or something like that,
Yeah.
establishing the origins of Clayface. But you don't really, if you see him in another movie, you won't really need to see the previous movie for context, because it's Clayface, it's a Batman villain.
Yeah.
You don't need to know too much about them. But it's
It's
only if you want to
also
get there past,
it also confuses me a little though with Clayface is that he died in Reacher Commandos. I don't know what they're gonna do with that in the Clayface movie. If it's gonna be a
Yeah.
different Clayface or it's gonna be in the past, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna Joker it or not, like, oh, the real Joker dies, but the it gets replaced with the other Joker or whatever. Um, no, they're probably just gonna revive him. That's my theory. They're just
Mm,
gonna revive him, and
that's
you
fair
know,
enough.
I think that I think that for the I'm very excited for the Clayface movie because of the fact that I just know it's going to be experimental. I know it's going
Yeah.
to be something new, and I think because we've already got an animated show and we've already gotten like a Superman movie. I can tell that they're being a little bit more creative than what Marvel was willing to do, and I think that's the head start they got on them. I think also just because it's more interconnected than, the Marvel movies we've got now. The Marvel movies we currently have are not interconnected whatsoever. They are not connected at all. Like, you could watch one Marvel movie, skip one, and then go to the other one, and you would just, like, you wouldn't know the difference. Like,
Yeah.
I believe I talked about Captain America like 4 before, where I was like, you do not have to watch the Falcon and the Winter Soldier movie, because, like, not only do they already tell you what's going on, but they actively contradict what happens in that show. So there's like really no point. It's so weird for me because I'm like, okay, I guess I'll rewatch the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. I watch it, I'm like, what the fuck is like? It must be so confusing watching things in it and as an MCU fan, because you get told specific information and then it gets later contradicted within like a different movie. It's so funny to me. I cannot imagine just like actually following along consistently with the MCU, because I would get a brain hemorrhage from trying to catch up with all the information.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Uh,
part of the thing that the MCU kind of got too big for its own good, you know. And they kept like
yeah,
establishing new lore and everything, and then it kind of fucked up. That like the lore and nothing makes sense, and it's like it gets to a point where it's just like at this point just reboot. It's what they should
yeah.
do anyway.
That's literally the only thing they can do if they kind of want to survive in the climate, because the casual viewer doesn't know what the fuck's going on because they have to catch up with like 15 different MCU shows. And what else? I mean, the avid viewer is kind of getting bored because it feels like homework.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like James Gunn's DCU just feels a lot more like a breath of fresh air, because I feel like he's doing what should be done with TV shows and just giving the characters a little bit of added character. You don't have to watch them, but it's only if you want the added character bonus. Um, I don't think. Yeah, I think Secret Wars will be a soft reboot. It definitely will. Like, there's
It
no way
should
it
be.
wouldn't be.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, then they're stupid. They're dumb. I
Well,
I
I
don't. There's no hope
think
for.
I think they're gonna use Secret Wars to do a soft reboot if Doomsday is a flop. That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah, it'll flop, and then no one will notice. I mean, they're putting a lot of money in RDJ. They're they're putting too much money in RDJ. How much money did they invest in him?
Wasn't it
Like
like
800 million?
no? It's not that much. Not for one movie.
Real,
It's not that much for one movie, man. um,
like it was so much money. I forgot how much. It was like it was too much. Like 100 million or some
I
bullshit
think it
like
was
that.
like 80 mil or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it'll probably be. I think it'll probably be like a soft reboot. Like they'll talk about some characters. Like they'll keep in some characters. Like they'll obviously keep in Thunderbolts. They'll obviously keep in Daredevil. Um, but they'll probably change quite a bit when
yeah.
it comes to yeah. Um, I yeah. I don't know. The MCU is really weird when it comes to just discussing what their future continuity will be like. Because I don't know, they're obviously trying to keep it alive, but I don't think they know how, and I think a lot of the people working there are quite out of touch. Whereas I think it's good what DC did is that they brought in a fresh pair of eyes because, you know, someone who's been in the superhero genre game for like years and years now and knows how to make, you know, competent stuff.
Yeah, and he can plan
Uh,
out like a universe, you know. It's kind of what,
oh yeah,
you know, is
he
what was
planned out
more
like
important
many
because
installments.
Zack Snyder did not plan out his universe well at all. And then when they
Yeah,
started it in 2013. It's why it's so weird that there's a 3-year gap between the first movie in the DCEU and the second one because you're like, wait, you're waiting 3 years to follow up to the Man of Steel movie, and you're supposed to be like, you know, like establishing all these big new characters. Like it's weird.
it's so weird how that movie works. Because you go from Man of Steel, where you introduce the Batman. I mean, where you introduce Superman, and then Batman versus Superman, where all of a sudden you have Batman is now introduced, like one of the biggest characters, actually the biggest character in DC is just getting introduced now, along with Superman, and now he's fighting Superman. It's so weird to me. I actually don't know what they were doing, but I'm really glad that they tried to improve Superman's character because there was a lot going on. There was a lot that James Gunn had to do to prove that, you know, Superman is actually a cool character, that he's not some boring asshole who's like, you know, who has a god complex and for some reason has Christ-like imagery just strewn out in his movies. So I
It
think
is
that was
very
like a really
weird the
big
way
ask.
Zack Snyder tried to treat Superman as you know, a Christ figure, like a God figure. Because I mean, it's what you know. It's very funny. We are you know, rewinding back to circling back to, you know, the movie, the Superman movie. Um,
Yeah, we go a
what
bit off
I
topic, yeah.
think it's that James Gunn got it right in that Superman, he may be viewed and adored as like this big, like awesome figure, but he is still a human, and that's what I love about just, you know, they basically say that verbatim, like that's what you got wrong when he's talking to Lex, that, you know, I'm just as human as you are, because, you know, being human is being flawed and, you know, fucking up sometimes is still, you know, moving forward and everything. So it's like it's interesting. I just, you know, I think it just works fairly well that way instead of doing the like whole like god thing with Superman and Man of Steel and BVS, because like it's one thing for people to look up to Superman and see him as kind of like this god figure. It's another thing for Superman to believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he shouldn't.
Oh yeah,
He should
absolutely.
believe that. It's why I like in the Superman movie that you know, the message, because, you know, one of my criticisms for the movie is that it's so silly how the first half of the message that he gets from his parents is so heartwarming and beautiful, and the second half is just like, yeah, and we want you to
Kill
destroy the
everyone.
world and replicate. It's fucking hilarious. But I think it just works for his character so well that I don't mind, because he always thought that he was sent to Earth to serve humans, to be there to help people instead of to be their leader. And that's, that's my favorite line in the movie. So when Pak Kent says like, what you wanted the second half of the message to be says a hell of a lot about you, because it's like, yeah, you wanted it to be something about helping humans and, trying to be, a servant of humanity to help the world be better instead of trying to rule over them. And so Superman, he just wants to be like a guy from Kansas instead of being like this godlike figure who can like destroy everyone in the heartbeat. You know what I mean? So I really appreciated
Yeah.
how James Gunn did that.
I think that like part of like making him human and everything is also making him like physically flawed. Like he's not perfect and he's not invincible, but he's he gets his ass beaten a lot throughout the movie. Like he gets his shit kicked in,
Yeah,
and it's only when he does like the human thing, which is working together with other people, does he actually win, because he doesn't win based off strength. It's literally in the movie where they're like brain over brawn.
yeah,
Um, it's more smarter to, you know, work together with other people, and it's the more human to work together with other people because we're social creatures, rather than to just face it head on and take it in stride and all that. I think there's like some subtle character stuff early on as well, because Superman like goes out at first and he doesn't take Crypto with him, and he gets his ass beaten, and when he does take Crypto with him, he's fucking winning. He's winning hard, and I kind of like that characterization with Superman, that he slowly learns to adopt more people to work with over time. Like he works with Mr. Terrific and he works with Lois, and I think it's that whole thing about community and working together is just such a beautiful thing about the movie, um, because it just makes Superman feel all the more human. I think that whole thing with Pa Kent as well is so beautiful, because it really does. I think that's the moment where I was like, okay, yeah, Superman is fully human,
hmm
because he's in the room, like he's sleeping in the room with the dog on his lap and everything, and then he's
Waking
talking to
up
his
with
parents, and
Crypto sleeping on him was so beautiful, especially because Crypto's such a shithead. But you can tell
yeah,
how like it was like you could just tell
he's
how
such.
much like he loves Superman even though he is a shithead. It's great.
I do love Crypto so much. I do love that line about like, oh yeah, he's a dog, but he's not even that good. He's not even that good at being a dog. I think that's like it's such a beautiful delivery on David Cornsmith's part, because it does feel really human in that regard. Like it actually felt like he believed himself saying that. Like it was fantastic. I love how. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I love how he just like saves people and animals in the middle of battle. Like he doesn't just save people; he saves all
Yes, him
beings
saving the
of life because
squirrel
he
was
views
so
them.
fucking amazing. There was
Yeah,
the dog, of course, but saving the squirrel, like, oh
yeah,
yes, amazing.
yeah. It's so cool, because like it just shows that he sees all beings of life equally, rather than just he's just like, yeah, humankind's the only kind that matters, because of course he wouldn't see it that way. He'd see like all beings and all different creeds matter. And it's so good. I love the way Superman is characterized in that movie. That scene where he's like, he saves the squirrel, like sold me on his character fully, because I was already wanting to see the movie because of the trailer that James Gunn put out. But oh, the squirrel scene is like, yeah, that's my boy. That's my goat right there. And I mean, while we don't get too many Clark scenes, I think we get like three different Clark scenes, and then I mean, it's mainly just Superman scenes. But I really adore the Clark scenes that we get as well, because they kind of they humanize him
Yeah,
pretty well. Like the stuff with his relationship with Lois. His relationship with Lois is
it's a highlight in the
pretty
movie,
good. Like
honestly. Yeah, I really liked it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's not perfect and it's very flawed because you'd think, for a man who's like so perfect and like, so strong and everything, you'd think he'd have like a perfect relationship. But no, it's just as flawed as everyone else's
Well, it's kind of
relationship
what
and
I love about it. It's because he's like so pure that he doesn't see like, the issues. It's like it's why it's why what I love that she says, I'm a punk rock girl and you're, Superman. You're like a Boy Scout. So we're just too different. It's what I love because it's like it's that dynamic between the two that I find really interesting. Because Superman just makes everyone around him better just by existing, because he just inspires everyone. And I love the effect he has on Lois and how much Lois is willing to put herself in harm's way just to, help Superman, because she's like, no, he's the, because like even by that point she's like thinking of breaking up with him. um
yeah,
but
yeah.
she's just like, no, like he's like a symbol of hope for the universe, for the world, for Earth. So we need him. We need him to be available to do that. So I loved what he does for her character by doing that, and then her like realizing, I actually do love you too. And it's great because he says I love you like way too early in a relationship, but it's also like super in character for him, and it makes Lois accept herself and that she actually cares for Clark more than she's willing to let on, because she says, oh, I told you that I'm not good at relationships and everything like that. Like her, because Clark is such like a Boy Scout lover boy type, like super, nice. He makes Lois realize things about herself to help her like understand herself so much more, that I think just like makes her a better person. And I think like Lois just embodies what the entire thing about like Superman representing hope exists in this movie. Because like everything about Superman inspiring hope into people is present in Lois, and it's also present in other characters. But I think Lois is like the perfect encapsulation of that. Which is to
Oh yeah,
say, yes, I
absolutely.
very much like Lois in this movie.
Yeah, oh yeah, I couldn't tell that you didn't like. I thought you fucking hated
Yeah,
Lois.
yeah.
But no, I mean, for what character she gets, like it's incredible. I really do like how naive he is, as like how naive Superman is as a character, especially going into relationships, because it really is that like that lover boy thing that gets kind of what's the word for it? It gets it gets oversaturated a lot in media where like people talk about obsessively where they just want that like pure innocent type of person in those types of relationships, but in reality you're not going to get, but you're not going to probably get that because not everyone can be as like pure as Superman. So when you get to see that, it's such an interesting thing because it feels so unnatural,
Mm-hmm.
because the world is so flawed, and he looks at it in a very naive way, but the way he looks at it is, it works because um they the movie shows it's okay to be a bit naive, because and maybe that's a good thing, because I think that looking at the world it's in such like an empathetic way where she literally says that you view everyone like with as this like beautiful person.
Yeah.
um
I mean, yeah,
and
she
I
makes
think
fun of it
that's
as well when when Green Lantern says, "So he's Clark Kent." She's like, "Why does he trust everyone?" It's like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I absolutely adore how Clark is characterized, even if we don't get a lot of Clark, which I think is okay. Like, I mean, I understand they want to establish more of Superman than they do Clark Kent, because I mean, where to get enough of the established characterization, and James Gunn already said that he doesn't want to do a full origin story, just enough to establish, what's going on.
Hmm.
So I think it makes sense that we only get so much time with them in the Daily Planet, because obviously, it's the Daily Planet. That's where he works. Anyway, moving on. Uh, whereas I think Superman is a lot harder to establish than just that, because you have a lot of things actually to to work against. I think that's interesting because like I said, you obviously have to establish this entire new world of DC, which is a really hard feat to do on its own, but you also have to make it that character likable again. And I really like how they do it. I'm honestly like I'm gonna read more Superman comics like once I'm done once I'm done with the stream. I'm gonna be watching more.
Yeah. Yeah, it
I'm
has
glad
made
we
me
didn't
more
get.
interested in Superman. I wasn't aware that I cared about Superman until I watched this movie. Like as a character, but when I
No, me
watched it I
neither.
was just like, "Oh shit, this is my Superman." Like this is what I want from a Superman movie. It's just so like campy and like heartwarming and so like hopeful. I was like, yeah, this is what I need. It's I don't want this fucking deconstruction of Superman that everything has done for the past like 15 years since like Man of Steel and fucking Homelander and I'm pretty sure Invincible has that too. I've not watched it and I'm sure it's good as well. But I'm just like I'm just tired of that kind of thing. And having like just Superman just be the Boy Scout, it's just so nice to see again after like so long of him
I'm
just being an asshole.
I'm really glad that it kind of puts to bed the evil Superman type thing. Like we can finally lay it to rest. Like, now that Superman is actually an established good guy rather than, media perceiving him as this like, narcissistic god type figure. I feel like we won't be seeing as much of an influx as like an evil Superman. I mean, everyone's already getting tired of it anyway. Like we talk about evil Superman now because it's such a tired trope.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we've seen the actual who Superman actually is, I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot less of it. And I think that's kind of the point because he defeats an evil version of himself. Um, he's literally fighting himself. Like the main source of conflict in the third act is himself, and he's fighting himself. And at the end of the day, he beats himself because he doesn't rely on a crutch like like his strength or anything. He relies on the people around him, and I just think that's so beautiful. I
Yeah.
think the clone twist is very interesting, um, because they really didn't have to make him a clone, but I think that it's really cool that it is just an evil version of himself causing all this chaos and destruction throughout, Metropolis and everything. Like it is literally if he followed his parents' wishes, like if he did all this stuff, he would be doing this exact thing. And I think that's such an interesting way to portray as it just a physical manifestation of himself. I think that's been done a couple times in superhero media, but I kind of appreciate every time it's been done because it's usually handled with quite a bit of nuance to it, really. But I think it's done basically perfectly. Like I mean, again, I don't really have many problems with this film. I think it's like basically a very solid superhero film. It's probably the best thing that DC has put out since the Batman, which is like what five like 3 years.
3 years
Yeah,
ago.
3 years.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't like saying that, like, oh, best thing since because like what have we gotten since the Batman? Like what Black Adam, um, the Flash, Black Adam, the Flash, I guess the
The
Penguin,
hierarchy of DC will never be the
I
same.
guess the Penguin as
Things will
well in terms of like DC stuff since then.
Oh
If we're not
yeah,
counting just movies, Creature Commandos, and that's kind of it, right?
and this is pretty.
Oh, the Harley
Yeah,
Quinn show, I guess, but we're not counting that because it's not part of the DCU.
yeah, I'm pretty sure like a
Oh yeah,
lot of people
Peacemaker.
who
Yeah, yeah.
have subscribed. Yeah, Peacemaker.
The
Oh,
Suicide
so
Squad was
Suicide. I
indeed
think
before
yeah,
the
this was
Batman. It was 2021. The Batman was
yeah,
2022.
yeah. Damn crazy how Gunn was just carrying that shit. Yeah. I mean, do we want to count? Peacemaker was before, I think. I remember being 2021, right?
Was it?
I
I think it was
was it?
2022 because it was
I have
after.
no clue.
It was yeah, it was 2022, February 2022. So early 2022.
Ah,
So it
okay,
was
yeah, so
before the
it was
Batman.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's clear that like Gunn was trying to fix portions of what like had been damaged to DC. Like he made the Suicide Squad, he made Peacemaker, which Peacemaker, he's talked about being his, his favorite thing to work on, which makes sense because it's a completely different beast that he's tackling. It's a serialized show, um, about some fucking goofball. I think he secretly loves tackling, um, irrelevant characters that have been completely evaporated from media
Yeah.
space just to bring them back and make them popular again. He loves doing that shit. I can tell. Like he loves making Polka Dot Man like a popular character again. And I think that's just really cool. I completely forgot Black Adam was a thing though, and I remember making a video on Black Adam. So I am no, I have no I can it's beyond me that I completely forgot about Black Adam entirely. I only remember it because of Dwayne The Rock Johnson saying that the hierarchy
Of
of
the
DC will
DCU,
never
yeah.
be the same. Yeah, and he was right. It was never the same after that, but it was like in the funniest way possible because his because the like he had in mind that that Black Adam was going to be this focal point of DC, and that could not be further from the case. I don't think Black Man Adam has ever been fucking mentioned again. Yeah, that's what I meant. Not that I did like a video on Black Adam specifically. I just made a video on High Top criticizing his Black Adam points. God, that was so long ago. But yeah, it's so weird seeing the progression of getting to here because it is a bit of a stumble. Like trying to reboot the series because you can see like the hits and misses, and you can tell exactly how much were by Gunn and how much were by other people. Like for example, like Peacemaker was obviously made by Gunn. Uh, it's interesting seeing that series get there because that was, I think Black Adam was the turning point before we started getting Gunn's phase, but I can't exactly remember if that was the case. I think it was after Black Adam we started getting, good DC projects again.
I mean, The Flash was after
But
Black Adam, wasn't it?
okay, after the Flash, after the Flash,
yeah, I
we
mean, the entire
started getting.
point was that after the Flash, they were gonna reboot. By that point, they hired James Gunn because I remember James Gunn saying no. Oh shit, yeah, Shazam 2 also came out in 2023. Anyway,
Oh damn!
the Flash was like James Gunn saying like, no, this movie's amazing. And yeah, obviously it wasn't.
I mean, the only reason he did that is clearly because, like,
I mean,
he doesn't want
he's the
DC to go completely
he's the
bankrupt.
CEO of the DC films.
Yeah, obviously
So
he's
it's
gonna
like,
say
yeah.
that. It kind of like amazes me for like why people were so like befuddled as to why he would say that stuff. And it's like it's pretty clear why he would say why the Flash is amazing. He obviously doesn't, like the movie, but he wants it to do well so he could, he can make more projects. And I mean, with Superman, there was kind of the make or break, and I mean, Superman was never going to fail. That movie had so much marketing behind it that even if the movie was bad, it wouldn't have, it wouldn't have failed. DC would have continued onwards. Thankfully, the movie is not bad. It's a very good movie.
Mm.
And I think it's a good foundation point for the rest of the DC EU.
DCU. The E was dropped after they rebooted
God.
the universe. The DCEU ended with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Well, I mean, if you want to say it ended with The Flash in theory, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it clearly ended with a bang. Jesus Christ.
Wait, unless Shazam was after The Flash, I actually don't know. I never watched Shazam. I have no clue. Shazam 2, obviously.
It was, I feel like 2022 was the drug-addled era for like DCU content because I have no idea what came before or after those three. It's just kind of like a blur. So whenever people are like, "Oh yes, Shazam 2, that exists," I'm like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, no, I completely forgot about that. I forgot about two other things because we were naming off DC properties and then we're like, "Oh yeah, Black Adam exists. Oh yeah, Shazam 2 exists." Like it just goes to show like how many shit properties came out and we just completely forgot them.
Yeah.
Aquaman 2. Oh my god, there was Aquaman 2 as well.
Oh, that movie? No. Aquaman 2? Really? That was after the Flash.
Fuck.
I did not.
No way.
I don't
What the
remember
fuck?
seeing anything about that movie. Like genuinely, I don't remember any
Oh
marketing for that
yeah.
movie at all.
No, I remember now because the last scene that was ever filmed in the DCEU was someone eating a bug sandwich, and that was at the end of Aquaman 2. I remember this shit now. I remember the I feel like I got Men in Blacked. What the fuck?
That's
Holy shit.
the fuck.
No, that makes so much more sense. Oh my god. What a way to end the universe. Oh, I remember that part specifically. Yeah, no shit, it bombed. Like, I saw nothing about Aquaman 2. I have no idea why the first movie did well in the first place. Like, that I think I saw the first movie and I remember being like, this is just kind of
I
lame.
mean, the first
It's so
Aquaman
clear that,
movie is very much just sludge, just a bunch of stuff happening. But I kinda had fun. But the thing is, right? I only watched that movie once, and I watched it in theaters. And I remember specifically that I watched it after not sleeping at all the previous night. In the sense that, like, I
oh,
literally
that's
was up
fun.
for like 30 hours by that point.
Oh, yeah, that's
So,
fun. Yeah.
yeah, so watching that movie,
It must have looked like a fever dream.
it was a fever dream because that movie is just noise for 2.5 hours, and then I watched noise for 2.5 hours without sleeping. It was crazy. Oh man, I can't believe I
Oh,
did that.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I watched Superman, like this movie, like for the first time with like 5 hours of sleep, but I really didn't want to be tired while watching it, so I chugged down like 2 energy drinks. Oh yeah, fucking Blue Beetle. I love how we keep on like talking about. Oh yeah, that's
Oh
the
yeah,
end
Blue
of
Beetle. I
like
watched
DC
Blue
properties.
Beetle. I watched Blue Beetle. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. It was like
Yeah,
super. It was Iron Man, except not as good.
this shit is just gonna keep on going. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, fucking Blue Beetle was the thing. Oh yeah, this other thing was the. Holy shit, we've gone through that phase like 5 times now. Like we've forgotten like 5 different movies came out. God damn, we really did live in a blur era where we just like they just kind of quick fired movies out and all of them bombed. Holy shit. I remember Blue Beetle because they were like selling that shit at McDonald's and they were like selling the Blue Beetle drink. From what I've heard, it was really shit.
It wasn't shit. It was fine. It was, it's like the most 6 out of 10 movie you're ever gonna see in your life, honestly.
Oh no, I meant the McDonald's drink. I don't.
Oh, McDonald's. Okay. No,
From what
okay.
I've heard, the McDonald's drink was really shit. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay. No, I thought
yeah.
we were talking about the quality of the movie. The McDonald's drink, I have no stake in the matter.
Oh no, that's the real important thing. The
The
McDonald's drink. We really
McDonald's
need to know
drink.
how that one.
uh,
Uh, oh wait, Rafi, you tried the McDonald's? Okay, give it out of 10. Let me hear the McDonald's drink out of 10. We've gone so off topic. It's
Douglas, how
fucking
did you
crazy.
forget the Flash? Again, we were just talking about the Flash.
He. That's what I mean. That whole era was a fucking blur era. No one remembers every single movie that came out in that era because it's Birds of Prey. Oh
Birds of
my
Prey
god,
was
Birds of Prey.
2020.
Holy
Was
fucking.
2020. It was 2020.
Okay. There we. Okay. Thank God. I'm not like hallucinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Birds
I
of Prey
mean,
is
to be
pretty
fair,
good,
I
so
also.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching Birds of Prey. I remember it being like, oh yeah, that's a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I gave it a
Holy
7, but
fuck.
yeah.
Holy fuck. I thought I forgot. I thought Birds of Prey came out later. I mean, again, COVID era, like, that stuff, like, I get confused with the release date for
Yeah.
all of them.
Well, it was the last it was the last movie I saw in theaters before lockdown. I think I was just talking about that with you. I don't know if we talked about it on stream or if I mentioned it um before we started the stream, but either way, that was the last movie I watched before lockdown. I watched Sonic and I watched Birds of Prey and then lockdown, and the first movie I watched when back from lockdown was The Suicide Squad.
2020, the 2020 to 2024 era just had to be a fucking troll era, because, like, the last movie I saw, um, in theaters is my friend had rented out a theater to watch Fast and Furious 6 in the theater,
Six?
and then boom. lockdown, everything got shut. No, nothing was. Yeah, six. We watched Fast and Furious 6. I don't know why we watched 6 because
I mean, six is
I
fun.
guess it was the
It's
space.
not. It's not five
6
or
is fun.
seven, but you know, six is pretty fun.
No, five is the go. We
Five is the
like
go.
five's the one with the bank vaults, right? And they
Yeah,
just
it's in
drift
Brazil.
around
Yeah,
down.
it's fucking amazing. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best one.
yeah. It has Gal Gadot's terrible acting in it. Like, what more could
She's
you
in a
want from
few
that
of
movie?
those movies, to be fair.
Yeah, true. Justice, yeah, Justice. Thank God I remember Justice League. I mean, how could you forget? I'm, I am kind of glad though. Like Douglas said, that they did introduce like Guy Gardner and give him respect to Green Lantern because I mean, wait, did they introduce Green Lantern to Zack Snyder's or was
Yeah, it
that
was Zack
Martian
Snyder's.
Manhunter?
It was Zack Snyder. Well, the thing is, they were both in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Um,
Yeah.
because they it was fucking hilarious. So the way they did it was they showed Green Lantern in one of the like flashback fights with what's his name? Not Darkseid. Darkseid's goon. What's his name?
Scoon.
He's the
Fuck.
villain. Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf. Yeah.
Steppenwolf. Yeah.
Yeah. Steppenwolf. Yeah. So they were fighting, and there was a Green Lantern there, and that was the first time we saw a Green Lantern in the DCU. EU. And then in that same movie, they said that that one like military dude was actually Martian Manhunter. Oh yeah, yeah. Did he pretend to be like Lois, and then he had a conversation with like Clark's mom? That was a thing, right? Yeah, but you remember it
I think that was the
better.
thing. That fucking universe was crazy. I don't remember half of this shit. That was fucking insane. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I mean, I do remember the only thing I remember from that era was Man of Steel dick pods.
Oh
And that's it.
yeah, they did look like dildos.
They
Yeah.
they That god, I love like just how big of a joke that universe was. He did. Oh goddamn. That's
Yes.
so fucking weird.
Yeah. So Martian Manhunter pretended to be like Lois, and then they had a heart to heart, Lois and Clark's mom, and then he exits the room and like takes back his form of like whatever military dude he was. And they're like, "Oh my god, that was Martian Manhunter!" And you're thinking, "Why did we just do that?" And it was like because
Yeah.
Zack Snyder was trying to be like, "No, you see, I'm establishing things for future projects," and he wanted his universe to be saved by that point. It was very crazy. Zack Snyder was very desperate with Zack Snyder's Justice League because he clearly wanted to reestablish his universe. And so he like kept like dropping hints of like future stuff. And even though like he said that that was like his original vision for the movie, it clearly wasn't. There was so much stuff that he added like after the fact, just like to tease a future universe. It was very embarrassing.
Yeah, it's really weird how because it's kind of clear that he wanted to make more movies and like it like by the way he was structuring it, he wanted the universe to carry on, but obviously like it didn't,
Mm-hmm.
and good thing it didn't because we got this movie thankfully.
Yeah, yeah.
The, I wonder what they're gonna do with Hawk Girl though because like Hawk Girl is the only one. I mean, there's so many interesting like stories you could do around Hawk Girl because in the Justice League show, like the animated one, she was like an atheist and like a few people in the group were like religious, so it'd make for some interesting conversation topics. God, I remember when the Justice League was cool. Fuck that. I just remembered the Justice League being cool, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember them being cool. Sorry, but yeah, I think there's a lot you can do with Hawk Girl as a character, and I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with her because it doesn't seem there's like any plans for her at the moment. That's kind of why she's the most undeveloped character of them all. That I don't think she like they're probably saving her for a later event.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, a
she's
lot
very
of
much going to
the
be
the Justice Gang stuff just felt like they were just establishing things for future, for future
yeah, yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Peacemaker season 2. Yeah, they're probably gonna do a bit with like the DC, the Justice Gang, and Peacemaker season 2.
Yeah.
If I were to
Well,
take a
wasn't
gander,
she
they're probably
actually
gonna.
in Creature Commandos? Hawk Girl? I remember her
Yeah,
sitting in
maybe
the room.
briefly.
Yeah, I remember her sitting in the room with Waller and Rick Flag Sr.
It makes sense that the Zionist hot girl would be working with the government. But
I mean, Hawk
um,
Girl killed Netanyahu in this universe, so who fucking knows, man?
yeah, all is forgiven, I suppose. But yeah, oh god, all is forgiven. I mean, yeah, it's weird. Creature Commandos was a weird establishing show because it did kind of establish quite a few things, even though like at the end of the day, I feel
Most
like
people haven't
Superman
watched it.
established. Yeah. So Superman just established those things anyway. So it's this really weird thing. I mean, it's getting a season 2, so clearly it was a popular enough show.
Hmm.
But I'm very excited to see how they introduce it because I just know in Peacemaker season 2 they're going to have an episode at least about the Justice Gang. I can just see it. I can see through Gunn's vision glasses. Okay, I know how this man operates, kind of, not really, but I kind of do.
I could see the
I
that Peacemaker would do the thing with the
Yeah,
Justice Gang. Yeah.
his whole thing is like he's on the news protesting it. That's so fucking funny that happened. I I knew it was going to happen. Like I knew he'd get a cameo of some kind, but like the way it the the way it got the way he was introduced was just so out of nowhere and funny because it was like such a low point for Superman's character. Then all of a sudden Peacemaker comes in being like, yeah, that guy's a little fucking bitch. I fucking hate that guy.
It was great. Everyone in my
Yeah,
theater laughed so
and
much, and I mean, even Evan, who hates this cameo type stuff, like that. So I was like, yeah, it was fun.
oh oh yeah, like I think that that's kind of how you do cameos, right? Like you don't make them too much of an intruding presence in the film, but it adds towards like the film's the film's message and expanding that universe. It makes the universe feel bigger than it actually is. That's ironically a problem that Star Wars had, that it feels like the universe is so small that like
Yeah.
everyone keeps finding each other, but with it feels like the universe is so much bigger and there's so much more to explore. And in Superman, I mean, we literally have Supergirl coming in at the end of the movie, uh like it's literally establishing like we're gonna follow her next and we're gonna see
Mm.
different planets and shit. I have not seen Woman of Tomorrow. I haven't read Woman of Tomorrow, but I know it, like the story is mainly based on Woman of Tomorrow, so we're probably gonna see different planets and different universe, like different parts of the universe. And I think they'll be interesting to establish because not only are we getting, we're establishing Earth, but we're establishing these different planets as well. And I think that's really cool for like a phase one sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because it already establishes how big the universe feels. Whereas in the MCU, it's very much contained to Earth specifically, mostly. Like for like the first phase or two, it's very contained to Earth, and then it starts
I
expanding
mean,
it.
yeah,
I kind of like.
it's until Guardians that we actually see like any space stuff. Before then, we
Yeah,
didn't see
I
anything like that in the MCU, which I liked actually. Like, I mean, they make like when Tony sees like the ship and he destroys it at the end of Avengers, like a big deal. It's like holy shit, like
oh yeah.
holy shit. There are
I
like
yeah, it's
threats that are much bigger than we can possibly imagine. Obviously, not counting Thor. Thor obviously is like set on an alien planet. I forgot about that movie.
oh yeah. We keep forgetting about Thor.
Oh,
I
yeah,
like yeah. I like Thor, but I mean,
forgettable
it's
movie.
not. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's most of the Thor movies. I completely forgot that Love and Thunder came out the other day because I remember being like, "Oh yeah, Thor Ragnarok was fun," and then I was like, "Oh yeah, he made Love and Thunder too. Yeah, that fucking terrible movie." So it's weird. It's weird, but I really like how already from the get-go they're already establishing this massive universe, and it's so cool because that means we're gonna get probably more stories in that universe because if we're establishing it that early on, we're obviously going to get more stories from it. And oh, it's cool how Gunn's setting up this universe because again, making it feel bigger than it already is, and I think that's kind of what the DCU needs at the moment, is for it to make it feel like there's a universe just bigger than Superman. So there's a lot more to chew on than just, um for example, just, it's contained Earth. I feel like the audience kind of needs to know that there's going to be more stories coming out than other than that. At least planting like subconscious seeds in the audience's mind.
Yeah.
Thor 3 is still. I feel like everyone says that Thor 3 is their favorite, and I'd say it's my favorite as well out of the Thor movies, even
Yeah.
if it is like the most flawed. I mean, not the most flawed, but it is very flawed still. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, a Green Lantern movie. I completely forgot they're definitely doing a Green Lantern movie at some point.
Well, didn't
I mean,
they? Aren't they shooting like a Green Lantern Corps like TV show?
oh yeah, oh yeah. They're making so many DC TV shows. It's
Yeah.
insane actually. I I mean, they're clearly doing a lot of their character development with the shows, and then doing like more of the major stuff with movies. And I mean, I kind of respect that. I okay, Jeb, I'm just gonna say this now. I think Thor 2 is just okay. It's
Part two
okay.
is
It's an
awful. What do
okay
you mean
movie.
okay? It's garbage. What are you talking about?
I
Jeb is
okay.
obviously doing it's job obviously joking. I don't
No,
know
no,
if
no,
you are.
no. I'm I'm sort of joking because I just think it's like a 4 out of 10. Um,
It's worse
I
than
don't think
that.
it's like.
The thing is, nobody remembers the movie well enough to criticize it, and that's why Thor: The Dark World gets a pass when people are talking about bad Marvel movies. But that movie is very bad, like insultingly bad.
I'll, okay, okay, I'll tell you what I remember from Thor 2.
Mm.
And that's nothing. I don't remember anything from Thor 2. I remember a kid once on my bus getting a Thor 2 pamphlet and saying, "Oh, yo, the new Thor movie's coming out soon." I didn't know that. And then that's all I remember. Because they must have not have advertised it or something. Because everyone was like, "Wait, that movie's coming out?" Oh, okay. Sure, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my memories with Thor 2. I can't remember anything from that movie.
Nobody can.
Um
It's like Jeb said, it's a spell. That movie casts a spell on you, and you're like, wait. And you just forget everything that happens in the movie. It's insane. You finish the movie, and it's just, you just don't remember anything. It's crazy. It's crazy. That movie's
It
crazy, man.
really is. It really is just like the most nothing thing ever, because I cannot recall a single thing about Thor 2, and yet I would have just watched the movie, because I mean, even when I watched Thor 2 for the first time, after watching it, I was like, wait, what the fuck happened in that movie again?
You just
I do not
forget,
blame
because it's
anyone
like,
who
it's so boring. Like, do you remember who the villain is?
I actually don't. I actually I
Actually,
thought it was gonna be Loki for a
I
second.
forgot the
No.
villain's name. Malekith. Malekith. Yeah. Do you remember the
Mal
actor who
fuck.
plays him?
No, not at all.
It's Christopher
No, no.
Eccleston. It's the Ninth Doctor.
Wait, really?
Yes,
What the fuck?
it's Christopher
Damn.
Eccleston.
And you forgot as well. Like Jesus, that's just how forgettable he is. Holy fuck. That is terrible.
Yeah, it's
That is
Christopher Eccleston. It's crazy. Nobody fucking, yeah.
it should
That movie's
it should be
insane.
a crime to have that much of an ensemble cast, and yet no one remember like what happened in that movie. Like I mean, there's what's the fucking actor's name again? Thor
Christopher
2's cast a
Eccleston.
spell on me again. No, the other one. Like it's a Skarsgård. Fucking
Oh
I
yeah,
forget the Skarsgård. Like
there's too many
yeah,
Skarsgårds. I never remember the first name for them. But yeah, the old
yeah,
Skarsgård, the dad. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the Baron. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, the one that's clearly about to die soon. Um, yeah, that one. I completely forgot he was in the movie until like way later. Oh yeah, and Michael Mando in Homecoming. I'm never forgiving the MC for that. I mean, one thing that I do clearly like is that it's very abundantly clear that the DCU is not going to be, forgetting many characters anytime soon. They're clearly going to be, you know, that they're going to be using them all, and they're going to be using them quite carefully. because Gunn loves using like washed up characters, just making them popular again. I I I can't believe I'm still kind of sad that Michael Mando was in fucking the MCU and he only got like one scene and then he was never brought back again. That makes me so mad. I mean, but anyway, I'll try not to focus too much on that because I could rant for 10 minutes about how the fact that what like Michael Mando, this like fantastic actor, was given like one line of dialogue and then never showed up again. But I won't. We'll talk more about Superman because otherwise that would be here all day. Um, I I think that this movie also looks quite good for the most part. I think it's very clear that that they had like the CGI kind of doesn't look like fantastic in some areas. Maybe that's just me, but I don't think
There's
it
a
like
few moments
affected
where
anything.
the CGI is a little bad, but I mean, I don't mind. It's whatever. CGI is one
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
things that are just like, eh. It either looks good or it doesn't, and I prefer if it does, but it didn't take me out of the movie, so it's fine.
it's one of those things where if you like a movie, it doesn't affect your experience
Yeah,
barely at all. If you hate a movie, it affects it
yeah.
it affects it monumentously. Um, but I mean like there's some CGI. I mean it's I mean it's clear I don't really care too much. It's the start of the universe. They'll get better CGI later, hopefully. Hopefully, I say. I just like the look of this movie. This movie has a very comfy feel to it. I feel like I love the Batman, but that movie is obviously not a comfortable movie. I think the both those movies work in different ways where Superman is just this very comfy vibe. Oh yeah, Lex, let's talk about him. I'll talk about like the vibe first. I think that this movie is very comfortable. That's why I've seen it like fucking 4 times already in the theaters. It's just a comfy vibe. You can sit down, you can relax to it, and then by the end of the movie, you feel pretty good about yourself. And I just I love that so much. But yeah, I suppose we'll talk about Lex because I completely blanked on Lex. We talked about Clark, we talked about Lois, we talked about the Justice League. We just didn't talk about Lex. Um, I guess we're saving the best for last then. He kind of is just the standout other than Superman, isn't he? Because like I think it's also funnier because Nicholas Hoult was auditioning to be Superman and then he got denied and he got cast as Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
and
Which is
I
very
think
much a
that
Lex
worked.
Luthor thing to to happen.
Yeah, yeah, just like, oh yeah, I'm about to be Superman, just gets fucking denied instantly. Love that. That is the most Lex Luthor shit ever, and you can tell that they like both Nicholas Hoult and David Cornsweet just have like really great chemistry together because they have it's so clear they have so much fun in the scenes that they
Yeah.
do when they're with each other. But even then, I think Lex's acting is probably the highlight of the movie for me because his hate is so fucking funny. Um, I remember when he threw the cup on the ground and he just like was screaming. I couldn't help but burst out laughing because and everyone else did because that I have never seen a man so fucking hateful of another superhero. It's quite insane. Um, yeah, the scene where he fucking kills a guy. That was crazy. Like I didn't actually expect them to show them like killing an innocent civilian. Like that was I mean
That was
obviously,
amazing
it's
to
not,
characterize him like
yeah.
so fucking much, especially because what they did in terms of like the shock value, because it starts with him like just, obviously doing the the Russian roulette, right? And you think it's gonna go on
Yeah.
for a while when it's gonna build tension because he's gonna keep doing it, but he just kills him on the second try. And it's like, holy shit, they
And
actually
it's like,
did
oh
it.
fuck.
You think Superman is gonna scoop in and save him at the last moment, but he doesn't. He just dies. That was like, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, oh it's insane. Have a good one, Rafi. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah,
See you, Ruffy.
it's real. Like I was expecting like this really like intense like Russian roulette, and then yeah, it just kills the guy, and they're like, oh okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't expect that to happen. Anyway, moving on. Like it just showed how evil these people are. Like, holy fuck. I think I had like a rage for like those two people, but also it was kind of like darkly comedic at the same time. So I was obviously like kind of laughing along, because it's just these two grown ass men laughing about how they killed a guy while they have a alien spaceman in prison. It's quite insane. Um, but no, I think that Lex is an incredible character. I think his whole plan to like start this like war just because he wants to fuck with Superman and just wants to like, try and take him down is the most petty shit ever, and it is the most Lex Luthor shit I've ever seen. I I think they really get Lex Luthor down to a T. I think that, I mean, there's obviously going to be some people who talk about like whether Christopher Reeve or David Cornsweet is better. I don't think there's ever going to be a debate on which Lex Luthor is better. It's clearly this one. Because what do you have? The fucking Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor? Like, no one's going to debate whether Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor is better or not. It's obviously this one. Yeah, it's incredible performance, really. I really don't know what to say about Lex because there's just so much to dissect about him. I I think the way like he's even composed himself in his calmer scenes is a little bit intimidating because he just like you can tell that like that it's a mask that's like kind of waiting to break
Yeah.
because he kind of makes himself look so much cooler than he actually is.
I mean, yeah, it's very much
But
part of
you
his
know
character that he's like playing it cool and everything, but he's like has so much rage underneath. It's why it's great when we see it like seeping through, and the moments where he's like
yeah,
breaking that we actually see it.
I
Like
mean it's why he's bald as well.
yeah,
So
so
like
much
I mean
stress. He lost all his hair. Yeah,
all the hate from Superman just like it was extracted from his hair. Now he has
yeah.
none of it. That's where all the hair went. But sorry, continue. Uh, um,
Yeah, no, yeah, like Lex, he's a very interesting character, and I really I thought like because I don't know, I've not read that many Superman comics, but from what I understand, him being such a petty, like obsessed asshole is like perfect characterization for him. And I really like the way they used him to be like an analog for obviously Trump and Elon in terms of like wanting to buy
oh yeah.
Palestine, because Trump has literally said that he would turn Palestine into, like a resort or whatever once Israel quote unquote
Oh yeah.
liberates it.
Fucking
So
Lex
like yeah,
fucking Lextopia or some bullshit like that. Like it's very clear. Like I mean it's very clear what they were trying to do with the
yeah,
movie, even though Jeb will deny otherwise. Jeb's a Palestine Israel um uh fucking
doubter.
like it's yeah, he's a Israel Palestine doubter in this movie. He thinks it's just like any other Middle Eastern country. It's very clearly meant to be Israel Palestine, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Jeb can cope. Um, uh, but like it's very insane like, because like it's I think it's even established in the movie. It's like, oh yeah, they may have been there like first, but like people are living there still. Like it's I and also like yeah, I do like how Superman even defends them, being like, yeah, they might have used like bad, like had bad decisions in past, but still, like they're still living there, like it's it's so interesting for me. I find him really interesting because he feels quite nihilistic due to Superman. Humans are pointless. Yeah, exactly. He feels like he needs to prove that humans are better than Superman, like this being, but that doesn't need to be the point because I mean, it plays into the message of it's okay to rely on others for help. It's okay to like, it's okay to have someone like save you. That doesn't mean that humans are pointless because humans still do help out throughout the movie. They still do play like an important role throughout. Um,
I mean, yeah, the
I mean,
journalists
like
from the Daily
literally, people,
Planet are basically the heroes of the movie.
yeah, yeah, and Jimmy as well. Like they're both like heroes. They're the people who like blow the whistle on this whole thing. Uh, so like literally it shows that why humanity is just as important as Superman. Like they both need to coexist with each other. It does they don't have to
Yeah.
be on different sides.
Well, yeah, it's the thing
And
of
I
like
mean that's
he he thinks, he fought to get where he is, that he is superior to humans. Like, he even says he hates when he's put on the same breath as Einstein, and um shit, it wasn't
Galileo.
Galileo, yeah. Like, oh yeah, fucking,
Yeah.
I want to vomit, but at least, they're humans. They work with what they were given. They achieve something. Superman was just given. He just arrived here and he was given the gift. So that's why he feels like inferior, which I think is like an interesting way to do his character. Um, and Lex just like has no problem being evil because he just sees like the pointlessness of like humanity, just like fucking whatever. These people are like inferiors. Why should I care? Which I find an interesting way to
Yeah.
explore his character.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he has his girlfriend around as well, and like the girlfriend he dates, he doesn't even pay attention
I
to,
mean, yeah,
really. He's just like
he has a very specific type of women he goes after, and it's all for the sake of like um just eye
making him
candy,
feel better, really.
basically, just like a trophy wife,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, because I mean, it's very clear what type of woman he's dating, because the woman isn't exactly the brightest, and they're not exactly the smartest, but they do look good.
Yeah,
Apparently, what the person he's dating has like mutant toes, so he probably makes her cover it up and stuff. Like it's very clear, like he only wants her around as like, oh, look at how look at how amazing this girl I got is. Like, aren't I incredible? Like, I'm better than all of you. Even though
yeah,
like he clearly doesn't care about her, and he
yeah,
clearly doesn't. Like, he literally does not talk to her at all, apart from when he finds out that she leaked information, which I find to be quite funny. Like, that's the only attention he really gives her. But yeah, that's the parallels to Trump do get stronger and stronger, especially especially in certain cases. But yeah, I think that I think there's a lot you can dissect about Lex, especially the real political parallels, and just how fucking hateful this man is, and how he views not only Superman as lesser but humanity as lesser. I think that's interesting because usually Lex doesn't see humanity as lesser in other pieces of media. He thinks humanity is superior and thinks like, oh, humanity's so cool. But it's so interesting to see this Lex as someone who not only thinks Superman is lesser of a being. Well, obviously he's better. He even acknowledges he's better, but he wants to think he's lesser. But also humanity is lesser as well. And I think it's clearly an inferiority complex he has when being put up next to Superman. He clearly wants to be the best ever made. He wants to be the best person in the universe, and because he can't have that, he's fucking enraged by that. I mean, the way he's acting throughout the movie, like I think one of my favorite moments from him is just like when he's instructing the clone Superman to punch him. He's like, B6, B6, and he just like gets more into it. Like he's it feels like he's actually punching Superman. But he's not, clearly, because he's behind a screen. But the way he's acting, it's just like it's so visceral and energetic that it actually feels like he's punching him for real. Mm. Really good character. I don't really know what to add on too much to Lex other than he's just fantastic. He's probably the highlight of the movie for me, other than Superman himself.
oh yeah,
But I guess another thing is that like whole thing about Clark's parents, and how he goes through that conflict, and it's not until the end where he realizes that those actions and decisions, like his own actions and decisions define him, not the actions of the people who came before him, and that's what makes him so great. And I kind of like I really like how at the end of the movie, it, like goes back to the beginning, because he's like, oh, play a thing of my parents, and it's just like his foster parents who are taking care of him. I know some people don't like that because apparently it's changed from the usual context that the Superman's real biological parents weren't actually evil, but they changed it for the movie. And I mean, I don't really care. The
I
comic
mean,
stuff gets
yeah,
changed
I
all the
think it's
time.
just like a thing, like, I think as like a way to adapt these characters, it's perfectly fine if James Gunn doesn't really want to explore a lot of the Krypton stuff and just leave it as like background shit, I kind of, I'm very okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that I mean, it's very clear he doesn't want to because Krypton has been explored so much already in
Mm-hmm.
previous movies, and he makes it abundantly clear that he does not want to talk about Krypton, because it's already been talked about so much. So he only wants to focus on, Supergirl, and it's crazy to say that like Woman of Tomorrow will be the first good Supergirl movie that we'll get because the only other piece of like, Superman film that we get is you know, Supergirl. Like I mean, I think it was like Superman 4 or something or Supergirl where she gets her own movie. Which is quite insane to think about that like this will be the first time she ever gets good representation in media. Yeah, exactly. I don't mind the change. It works with Superman's arc. When it starts becoming more of a problem where it's like, it's really bad because then not only have you pissed off the community, but you've also just pissed them off in a way where you've done it so badly. It's kind of like that thing of like Batman's parents being bad people. I mean, they kind of have retconned it to being that way in comic continuity now because a lot of stories now focus on how Batman's parents were bad people, but it never used to be that way. And I think that change is also going to be kind of a thing with Superman. Um, and I don't know. I really like how Kryptonians are being explored, where it's not their background but through their characters. Like I'm quite excited to see what Supergirl's character going to be like because it's clear she's established as like some kind of like party
Party
girl.
animal, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I don't know, maybe I don't know, it could just be a fun adventure, or maybe she has like some trauma buried inside of her that she's like trying to cope with. I honestly have no idea, but she like I mean, Millie Alcock is like such a great casting for Supergirl. I mean, like the 1 minute we got of her like was incredible. Um, already sold me on the character, which again very hard thing for me to do because usually I'm not very convinced of characters until I've like seen a movie or two of them, and then I'm like, yeah, that's the character. But when it comes to you know, Supergirl and Millie Alcock's casting, like I completely bought that this was the character. Um, it's very funny how he treats like Superman treats Crypto as well. Yeah, yeah, exactly. She screams to me as like a Peter Quill type, where she's like kind of a drunk and like trying to cope through that with like different means of partying and all that. It is that does seem to be the direction they're taking her with, and you know what? I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I'll have to read Woman of Tomorrow because again, I haven't seen read it, but that's clear what the inspiration will be for that character. But I do like how Superman is like how Superman views the dog throughout the movie, because at first he views like Crypto as kind of an inconvenience, and then at the end he learns how to work with him because he's like, yeah, he's kind of a bad, like he's not even that great of a dog, but I still love him anyway, and I still want to make sure he's okay. Um, and it's really interesting how different like all the other characters in the movie just view animals, because they're just like, really, you're going to like turn yourself in for like an animal. And I like how Superman doesn't even address it because like he's so naive, he just thinks like every life matters, so he's just like, yeah, but he's not even that great of a dog anyway, but I want to make sure he's okay. Like that, just like those subtle moments of characterization just scream how like how pure and good that character is, despite how heavily flawed he is deep down. Oh, it's so good. I think like a lot of aspects about this movie work, especially how much he cares about like little animals and everything. And I mean the action scenes in this movie are also really good. I'm trying to uh remember what else to talk about, because I mean there's quite a few things to talk about, but I think we've gone through like a lot of the main stuff. I believe. I mean, is there anything you want to say about like the music of the movie like
I
that?
thought it was
I
good.
think
I love, 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 love John Murphy. His music
yes.
always very good. He obviously did the Suicide Squad, and then he went to Guardians 3. and replaced Tyler Bates, which was a shame. I love Tyler Bates, but the Guardians 3
Yeah.
soundtrack also slaps, so it's fine. Um, and I really like he just has a very heavy use of the electric guitar that I vibe with so much as a rock fan,
Oh yes.
and the way he uses it
I
to accentuate certain beats in Superman, I think works really well. And it's kind of
yes.
I kind of worried that it wouldn't work out that well, considering it is like Superman, so it should be like more like orchestral, like trumpets type shit, But I think it
Heroic, yeah.
works really well anyway. So yeah.
I think that whole thing about like being a punk rock, being a punk rocker and everything. I think it works within the context of the movie because the electric guitar really accentuates that because being good as that's the real punk rock and everything. The way it's utilized in the movie
Mm.
is really cool. I love it so much.
The Guardians theme was in Guardians
I
3. It played like 2 or 3 times. It takes a while. It's not until the third act, but it is in the movie. Thugless. The motif.
I God, I'm so excited because I just know that the way this like the way this the way this universe is being set up, it's going to be paid off in a really good way because Guardians 3 was a really good payoff. I think it's my second favorite Guardians film, but I I I really like the way like the payoff was utilized by the end of it, and I think we're gonna get a really strong payoff. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll get some stuff about like we'll get more development on Superman's appearance, but we probably won't. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine if Superman just doesn't get to because Superman's already confronted that part about him. There's no reason to return about. There's no reason to return to it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, is there anything else in this movie to talk about? I think we've covered basically everything.
I think so.
I'm not sure. Like, I'm not. Yeah, yeah. I mean, how much time do you have?
I have plenty of time.
Okay.
Do you want to cover the
All
video?
right.
Are you interested in covering that video, Ralph?
I'm very interested.
Okay.
I apparently there is a video that Sky told me about, and I do not know the name of it. I don't know anything about it. So this is going to be just as much of a surprise to me as it is, for everyone in the audience. So, go ahead and we spoke about Mr. Terrific very briefly.
Yeah.
Mr.
Terrific, good. That's what we have to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we can. Okay, let me open the watch together then.
Oh yeah. Okay. This is this is gonna be interesting. I have no idea who's gonna be Mr. Shapiro. It could be a Shapiro review.
Oh,
it's
not.
know.
It's not.
I don't know
It's not Ben Shapiro. I don't know if his review is even out yet. I saw that he said he was going to review it, but no.
Superman was not good. It's just so freaking dumb. Oh, I mean that's a ringing endorsement to watch Superman if I haven't seen it already.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
All
I'm in the watch together. There we go.
Right.
This video is.
Oh.
Do you know this reviewer?
Okay. Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big
Okay,
fan.
yep.
I am not a big fan.
Oh my god! What a surprise! Holy shit! I literally saw like 3 minutes of his video yesterday. I was like, this is so fucking shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He does like a 2-minute ad read, doesn't he? Like it's.
Oh yeah,
it goes on
we're
forever.
gonna need to skip it the first 2 minutes. I'm not watching the fucking ad read. Yes, it is Karsten. This video. See, the thing is, right? This video is insane, especially because it has 2 insane sentences that made my brain break in like 4 pieces. It was insane. But it's close to the end.
I know one of them.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure that was posted on Twitter. Yeah.
The YouTube comments inform me. Like I posted a video there, like, hey, did you know about this? I'm here after this review because I want to refresh my brain. I'm like, what the fuck did he say? They're like, okay. we will. I will not say anything for the people who have not seen it.
Today.
We'll just go through it. It's on screen for everyone as well,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah, it's
should
fine.
be.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Okay. The last word. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, yeah. I don't think you're ready for what he says, but it's okay. Let's
This video is brought to you by ZocDoc. What is the purpose of a negative review? It's not to needlessly poo-poo on someone's movie because it's fun. It's not to get easy views because negative videos tend to perform better. It's to offer your perspective on something for the love of the game. A negative review doesn't always come from a negative place. It comes from a place of love, a place of wanting better. In a time of let people enjoy things and turn your brain off, I would argue negative reviews now are healthier than they've ever been. Not as a way of being a party pooper or to prove someone wrong.
I don't know if that's
reminding yourself
true.
and others.
What?
I think the negative review has kind of gotten worse over the years because people like, you know, more
cinema
and
sins,
like,
yeah.
you know, yeah. I think it's gone like way worse. Like that's why so many people just like immediately go to the thing of like, oh, you're nitpicking and like, you know, and everything, because they just think you're a Mueller type person who, you know, is going to critique every single part of the movie even though it doesn't make sense. I do not think that negative reviews are in a healthier place than ever. I think they're in a worse place than they have ever been because it distracts from having any kind of discourse. But anyway, you go off, Karsten. Cool.
Your time is valuable, and the quality of art you engage with matters. I say all this to ease us into today's review of Superman, a film I really did not like. Superman is directed by James Gunn and tells the story of, well, Superman, who finds himself in the middle of several conflicts as the evil businessman Lex Luthor attempts to take him down. Superman...
That's one of the criticisms he levies against the movie that you're going to see him mention a few times. But that I've seen a few people say that I find so weird, saying that there's too many plots going on, but there's literally like one plot. It's all part of the same plot by Lex. Like people are saying, oh, there's too many things, but it's like, yeah, no, it's the same plot. It's all a way to distract Superman, like the fucking distract and discredit Superman, the fucking Boravia shit. So like, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird criticism. I've seen a few people say that there's too much going on.
Yeah, I don't get that one either. Like there are many things you can criticize about the Superman movie. The plot lines is probably not one of them. Like I really don't see it. But yeah, I guess let's continue.
Interesting time for the superhero genre. Arguably the most famous superhero to ever do it, and this serving as the start of something new and special. It felt like there was a lot of pressure surrounding this thing. Pressure to succeed, that is. It comes at a time where Marvel is desperately trying to get the wheels off the ground again and not really succeeding, and in a time where superhero fatigue as a whole is very much a thing. This opportunity for DC...
I feel like that's a response to James Gunn's thing where he's like, superhero fatigue isn't really a real thing. It's just kind of a thing where, you know, people just need new creative stuff, because like James Gunn did say that superhero fatigue isn't real. It's just because people like, you know, people like Marvel aren't making like, you know, any type of creative like movies. They're making movies that are like, you know, not interesting to the audience. And I think Superman as a movie proved that superhero fatigue is not a real thing. It like the movie is doing extremely well, so well in fact that it you know, that WB execs are like, oh, this is performing way better than we thought. Like I thought this was doing like, yeah, this would do this much, but apparently it's gonna like double. So I mean, it already proving the fact that, you know, superhero fatigue isn't a real thing. It's just it's just a product of audiences not wanting to do homework, because like watching superhero movies now feels like a chore instead of like a fun little event where you get together with your friends and watch something. But yeah, that's my take on the whole audio, and I think James Gunn is very correct on that. I feel like Carson's just saying that because it's just like, you know, as a little snipe at James Gunn.
Yeah, I didn't even.
That's just me.
Yeah, I didn't even clock that. I didn't even remember James Gunn said that. I mean, I think there's validity to saying superhero fatigue is a thing, but I think the term superhero fatigue is very much like reductive to what the actual issue is. There's more that encompasses superhero fatigue. So when you say superhero fatigue, you kind of need to qualify what you mean, because it's not just like, oh, people are tired of superhero movies, because it's not true inherently. It's what those movies are like, and how you mentioned the homework that you need to do to, you know, be caught up in the MCU and everything like that is part of what people are tired of. So yeah,
Jeb put it
James,
pretty well.
it's also the superhero films started being quite the same tired stuff on repeat, whereas Superman has its own unique identity to it, like the whole earn your suit trope. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was something we talked about in the beginning of the stream, but the MCU has felt like the same movie over and over again, and I'm glad that James Gunn has said, no, we're going to do a bunch of different, like, genres within the DCU, because I'm tired of seeing the same superhero movie over and over. And I mean, Superman is kind of the same superhero movie in that sense of, like, just being a, you know, it is very much a standard superhero movie, but I still feel like it has, like, a lot of heart in a way that a lot of the Marvel movies don't, so yeah.
It has a lot of heart in the way it feels more unique than the average superhero movie, because it really wears its identity on its chest, like it wears it in stride. It knows it's goofy, it knows it's a little bit silly, but that's okay. It's okay with being that anyway. And I think that's what makes the movie so great. It doesn't feel embarrassed to be what it is. Whereas, you know, Marvel's kind of embarrassed at some of the it's clear that they're kind of embarrassed of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Gunn, one of the most respected comic book filmmakers of his time, to direct a story about the most recognizable superhero of all time felt pretty significant. To put it simply, if a James Gunn film about Superman flops, is there really any hope for the superhero genre? Okay, what is that? Is that a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's this week's sponsor.
No, yeah, it's the sponsor.
Oh, well,
yeah, I'm gonna.
Is it a bird? It's a plane. It's a skipping the sponsorship. Yeah, let's. Oh no,
let's get back into the video. This film is probably going to do well.
God, that is like that's not a good chunk of the movie. That is a good chunk of the video. That's like
it's like a minute and like 15 seconds, but yeah, it's fairly long for a 10-minute video to have that long, but
yeah. Why I bring this up. I bring this up because this pressure to succeed is felt in the filmmaking here. It's such a major part of how this film was made. There's an attempt to appeal to everyone that forgets somewhere along the way that to be appealing in the first place, an arc of any kind is required. You might...
It's not true. That's not true.
Yeah, I mean, static characters have been a thing for a long time.
Yeah.
John Wick is the classic example of static character that works in a film that everyone loves. So,
yeah, I mean, but also Superman does have an arc, and I don't think he noticed that because his whole arc is part of it is learning to, like, you know, rely on other people to help, because originally it's like through subtle, like, you know, character work and not so subtle character work, he doesn't rely on others. He does things alone and he fucks up for it. But also it's that thing of, like, that conflict he goes through with his parents, and, you know, his past doesn't have to define him. It's his actions and his choices. But I don't get that whole thing of, like, he doesn't have an arc in the movie, because he very clearly does. It's just not as pronounced as, like,
he doesn't change as much as, like, Peter Quill in Guardians. But he still changes.
He does change. Yeah. He like, literally the beginning of the movie is completely different from the end, where he has his foster parents as footage for, you know, for what he watches when he's getting repaired after a battle, instead of, you know, his original parents. So he does go through an arc. It's just, like, I don't think it's as pronounced, and some people may not clock it as much as other people, but it is there. I don't know what he's talking about.
Might say, well, that doesn't matter. The action sequences appealed to me, or the humor appealed to me, or the camera work appealed to me, or the message appealed to me. The themes on immigration appealed to me. The themes on journalism. The dog. I mean, I could go.
The themes on journalism? What?
Yeah,
I don't think there were many themes on journalism.
I mean, there was quite a bit in terms of using journalism as a way to, like, bring down empires with how they do that with Lex. I think there is stuff to be said.
I don't think it was as pronounced. Like, you know, like, I don't think it's, like, a very pronounced thing in the movie. Like, it is there, but it's not as pronounced as, like, say, like, other things. Yeah. Is he gonna wait? Hold on. Let's see if he talks about the character work.
I could go on. There is plenty here. That's not the problem. It's not an empty film by any means. But none of it is fleshed out to an extent that any of it lands. It doesn't feel like a movie with a whole lot to say. It's a movie desperate to say everything, hoping that something in there is gonna...
Wait. That isn't that like a contradictive like thing. Like it's a movie that doesn't have a whole lot to say, but it's a movie that wants to say everything.
Yeah, it's weird. To try to like translate that, it's basically like the movie is trying to say so much that it ends up not saying anything because it's doing surface level stuff, and that therefore it doesn't have anything to say. Um,
Yeah, that is why I think that the movie. I mean, the movie and like I think he's trying like I think he's saying that like there's so many plot lines like but I don't agree because it all ends up converging into the same like message, which is about hope and like humanity and you know the will to do good. But like I don't think he understands that like all of these plot lines are in service of the same message instead of just he thinks that they're trying to comment on different political takes and everything. Where I mean it is commenting on modern day politics, but it is in service of something rather than just saying talking about politics for no reason.
yeah.
Because I mean yeah, but anyway.
In a stick. The most jarring issue I had with this was the way it looked. Listen, this is going to sound rich coming from someone who has for years complained about how muddy and dull mainstream films look. My main argument for why Red One sucked was that a film with a tone that unserious shouldn't look so serious. It should look a little goofy. What happened to these movies looking goofy? Off the trailers for this Superman film, I was like, this is pretty goofy. I was feeling cautiously optimistic about it. It looked weird, and I liked that. I like something different. But in the back of my mind, I was like, well, it's also not far off from some of those scenes from The Flash that I've seen, or even that one iconic Black Adam shot. Whatever DC has been cooking the last few years, does anyone really like the way these movies look? I don't get it. It has that disgusting DC sheen to it, the kind where everything looks like a fucking video game. It leans into the poppiness of its CGI, which is better.
I don't understand this point. Like genuinely, I need like qualifiers. I don't get what he's saying in terms of like all DC movies look the same, because this movie looks very different to every other DC movie other than the Suicide Squad, and that's because James Gunn, doing his own style basically.
Yeah, like I don't get what he's talking about, especially when like I mean he's not talking about DC shows, so I won't talk about DC shows, but it very much does look different from like every other DC project like ever. Like you're not gonna see like the shot of like Superman in the snow like that shot that scene looks beautiful, and I mean yeah, I guess some of the CGI looks bad, but I mean come on, a lot of other like movies had like so I mean for example like really older movies or just even new movies, bad CGI or not, I don't think that should be the main qualifier as to what makes a movie bad. I think he goes on about this point for like another 2 minutes.
The thing he was saying, we got to before the point even, was saying that it lends itself well to how the CGI looks. I don't get comparing this movie to other DC EU movies and how they look, because I don't I don't get it. I don't think these are similar at all in how they look. James Gunn has a very clear camera work style. He does qualify when he gets into like camera stuff and the wide angle lenses, which can get into. But I just don't get it. I just don't think that this looks similar at all. Like the Flash I kind of get in terms of like lighting and everything looking similar. The thing is, the Flash was like a mess of production, but there are certain things about the Flash that like look good. It's just like obviously not the CGI. The CGI in that movie is terrible.
Yeah,
for,
no,
like 90% of it. But there are some shots that are like and using the wide angle lenses to help the running and everything. It's like there's some stuff that isn't bad. That
I think that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
I think that's a lot of people hate about like the fact that the Flash director is directing the new Batman movie, because I understand where you're coming from, but obviously I don't think it's good to just blame everything on the director, because it's very clear that movie was a fucking mess. That movie had a messy production. Everything about was messy. And I'm going into the Batman movie with an open mind, because if James Gunn thinks that he's a really talented director, which from what I can see in the other movies he's like directed, he kind of is. I think I'm going to go into it with like a more open mind, because that should not reflect like the overall quality of the movie, of the final product. But anyway, yeah, I don't understand Karsten's point. I feel like a lot of this just needs to be expanded upon like what he's talking about. Like if the video was like 3 or 4 minutes longer, I would understand like maybe what he's trying to say. But here he's just like breezing past his points so fast. Which, I mean, it's a 10-minute video. Of course, it's not. He's not going to go into his points in depth. But I feel like he probably should have explained his points better, because this is a beloved movie. People do love this movie. So if you're gonna like make a critique and talk about why the movie doesn't work, you should probably go into it with a bit more detail than just like, yeah, it just looks the same as every other DC movie. It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a problem with
Better
this
than trying-
review specifically because of how little detail he goes into. Because if you're going to criticize the movie this much, you need examples of what you mean instead of just saying, oh, it's bad because of this and that. It feels just like, oh yeah, I didn't like it, and not like proving your work. And as a reviewer, you kind of have to prove your work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you're not like there's a difference between being like, some random schmuck on the internet and saying like, oh yeah, I didn't like the Superman movie. Like, who cares? But if you have an audience and some of the audience is very impressionable, you kind of have to explain why something is bad, to give examples, to have like an interesting discussion, because you do have like an audience who trusts you for, your work. And if you're not going to give it, then that's pretty bad, because people are going to give the examples that you give, and they're going to give bad faith criticisms. There's just many reasons why you need to like make sure your work is solid, make sure it's good. But yeah,
fucking video game. It leans into the poppiness of its CGI, which is better than trying to make it look like a drama, but it goes so far in the other direction that it really just looks disgusting. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I was optimistic that this would look better on the big screen. It looks a lot worse. I like different, but not if it's gonna make the film look cheap, especially for a damn IMAX film. This should look way better on the big screen than it does. This ultra wide angle thing, a trend that's been tiresome for some years now in films and commercials, is such a distinct and unique look, so much so that certain work, including this film, act as though it's an interesting enough choice that you don't need to light the frame in any particularly interesting way, because look,
I don't understand what the fuck he's talking about. I don't understand what he's talking about. Because the lighting in this movie is like, the lighting is really good in this movie. Like, especially in like a few scenes, like the Antarctica scenes. I think later on he talks about the apartment, like Lois, the Superman and Lois apartment scene.
yeah.
And that I don't see the problem with the lighting in that scene. I think it's lit pretty well. I just don't understand what problems he had. And again, that's like the main problem. He doesn't like go into
doesn't qualify. He just says the lighting is bad,
Yeah.
and you're kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, what do you mean by that? It's I'm not a fan of this dude. It's just like, and especially when he's using like the visuals from the trailer. Maybe there's a visual from the trailer that you can be like, see, the problem is like this and that, and it looks flat or something.
yeah.
But I don't know. I thought the lighting was pretty alright. There are a few scenes where it stands out. Honestly, in terms of cinematography, this is probably the worst of the James Gunn movies, I would say. I thought
absolutely.
it looked. There are some moments where the colors look kind of muted in a way that I didn't like. Very cold colors. I think it's just the color grading. Where James Gunn trying to make that look like that he's done since the Suicide Squad, and then he did in Guardians 3, and then he did with this movie. Where the colors are more muted, and it kind of it works well with Guardians 3, and it works well in the Suicide Squad. In this, I kind of wanted it to be more colorful and less blue. But the thing is, when it hits right, when it looks good, it looks really good. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Volume 2 is still his best looking. Yeah,
It
I
is.
can agree with that. I think Volume 2 is very good looking. I think the problem with also choosing like pick moments from the trailer is that trailers are often at times very different from the final product. So choosing like examples from the trailer, being like, see, this is like the what's wrong with the lighting and what's wrong with the cinematography, like the chances are it's going to be changed in the final product. Like, for example, like the whole thing of Superman blinking when he's like hit by like an object, or not blinking, like that's been changed multiple times in and out of post because the reaction it got. So I feel like, criticizing like choosing a specific trailer shot, like it still doesn't really count because the final product
Well,
could be
it's
so much more different, and
well, yeah, but it's
yeah.
all he has, and I mean, he said it looked worse in the movies than it did in the trailer. So at the very least, he has a trailer as a baseline to like show what
Yeah, yeah.
what he means at the very
I
least.
The thing is, I don't really agree with him on that because I've seen the movie like 4 times, and I don't think it looks worse than it does in the trailer. I mean, it depends what he means, right? If he means like what they're presenting is it like they're trying to make it look better than it actually is, then sure, I guess. But I mean, like they obviously want to choose the best shots for the trailer to advertise to the audience. I don't know. It's just a weird. His point is just really weird. I don't
I need
really.
a qualifier just to like like an
Yeah.
example of like this is what bothers me, so I could get a feel for what he means about not being lit in an interesting way. Um, because I don't know what he means by that. I don't know what is uninteresting about the way it's lit. I would agree it doesn't look as good as I hoped it would, but like it doesn't look bad. It doesn't bother me. Um,
Yeah, it
yeah,
still looks
especially
like
like in
pretty
terms of like him
competent.
say like, oh, it looks in IMAX on a big screen. I actually think like in terms of lenses and everything like looking like on a big scale, and I mean what I watched it on IMAX. I think that was like a lot better for me. That was really good for me. Like I got the sense of the like the budget. Like I could feel the budget coming through the screen, the big fight scenes and everything. So I just I don't agree with that point. And in terms of the lighting, I need a qualifier, I need an example.
Yeah.
Look at how funky the lens looks. I think the lighting in the Daily Planet scenes looked lovely, the sun shining through those big windows. Every other scene, the lighting felt random and out of place, especially the stuff in the apartment. That's what the hell is going on there?
See, like I need to understand what he means by this. Like what is bad about this lighting? I don't know.
Like, yeah, like I mean, it's dark, like so, like but the characters are still illuminated by like you know, sources of light coming from the lamps and everything. I mean, it looks fine. It looks like I mean, it doesn't look spectacular or anything, but it looks good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Especially the stuff in the apartment. That's what the
Yeah, I mean I don't know what the problem here is.
hell is going on there? The
This
VFX
looks
here
fine.
are certainly impressive, but they're pretty hit or miss as far as how nice they are to look at. Certain moments, like the monster attacking the city, looked kind of repulsive, if I'm being honest.
I really don't get this. Like
I mean,
did this monster look fantastic?
yeah, no, I mean, like at worst, I mean, the movie, like when I'm invested in the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that moment looked a bit cheap, but whatever, it still looks good. Like I would say the bad CG, like the quote unquote bad CGI in the movie, looks better than most of the stuff that Marvel has
Yeah.
put out with their CGI. That's all I'm gonna say, and to me, that's a big win. So yeah, I mean, sure, like the CGI could be better. Like it's not like
It's
peak
not perfect, yeah.
DCU. Yeah,
It's
but
just weird like him mentioning this monster specifically, like no, it looks good. This monster looked really good.
yeah, I don't know what's so bad about.
Unless
I
he
mean,
means
like
repulsive in the sense of like he looks so realistic that it's repulsive, maybe. But I doubt that's what he means because
yeah,
he's talking about the quality of the CGI and not, the monster itself. It's weird. It's a weird comment.
yeah. I
Kinda
don't really see what's bad about this monster.
It's like a
But yeah,
TV
anyway,
movie. But I will say,
Yeah, like saying it's a TV movie, I don't get it. Like that monster looked really good.
he
anytime
does things what I used to do when I used to make videos is that I used to make points like these, and I slowly stopped doing that because I realized, oh yeah, I need to like like, I need to substantiate these
Yeah.
these issues rather than just saying, it looks like a TV movie. It looks like, it looks really bad, because that doesn't tell anyone anything. I'm not providing information to the audience. I'm just saying shit. And, that's probably the worst thing you can do as a reviewer, is just say shit without, providing any kind of
Yeah.
claim. But, yeah, anyway,
If I'm being honest, kind of looked like a TV movie. But I will say, anytime James Gunn pulls out one of his 360 1er action sequences, the VFX and movement of the actions just glide through so smoothly. It's really satisfying to watch. It feels like he took what he learned from a similar sequence in Guardians 3 and decided to go even crazier.
Rewatching the scene actually clears every version of it in Superman. I mean, it does, but that's like the big climax of like the trilogy. You expect it to look better than like the scenes are just like, engineered.
I also believe that Guardians 3 was given a bigger budget than Superman, because, it's a moneymaker. It's one of Marvel's moneymakers. They obviously want to put some money into it.
Let's see.
So,
Superman
like, when he's like,
budget was okay. Not that Superman. Jesus Christ. Superman 2025 budget 225 million. So Guardians 3 budget 250. Yeah. Similar.
Yeah. So it's
similar enough, but a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's also like scenes achieving different things. But I agree, the Guardians 3 scene looks better than any version of this in the Superman. But they are still pretty good in Superman. I mean, even Karsten admits it. So yeah, I like the 360 fight scenes that we get.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I hope he does more of those, because those are always a treat, and they always make me smile when I see them.
Yeah, I mean, the best version is still from the Suicide Squad.
Oh, Guardians 3.
No, the Suicide Squad. The fucking helmet reflecting the fight. That is insane.
Oh yeah. That one's really good. I completely forgot about the Suicide Squad one. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen that movie since it came out, I think.
Oh, we should rewatch that. You know what? I'm gonna make that the next thing we cover. The Suicide Squad. That movie's so good.
Suicide Squad's really, like, I remember watching that movie when it came out, and I was like, damn. Like, it's still COVID. I'm watching this shit, and it's just, it's so good. Shame that movie didn't do well in the box office, but
it was expected not to. And I mean, it was successful in the sense of like they clearly saw that James Gunn was the guy for the job after making that movie. And it was just after theaters were starting to reopen, and it was released at the same time on HBO Max. So it makes sense that it didn't do as well.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense, but it's still a shame. That's whatever.
With it times throughout this film. While I'm getting my positives out, the best performance in this whole thing is easily Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific. He kind of did the impossible in that he was doing comic relief in the middle of action sequences, and it wasn't a total dud. He was actually...
I don't know if I agree with that.
Which part? That he was doing the the comic relief, or that he was the best actor?
Both. I agree. I disagree with that, because I think that doing the whole thing like comic relief during serious scenes is kind of just something to be expected now in superhero media, because it's been done to death with like Marvel and everything. It's kind of like an expected thing where you obviously have to mix you pull your weight with the comedy and drama side, like, to not make it too jarring, which is something that Marvel did a worse and worse job of over time. But I think that also, I don't think that he's the best performer. I think that Nicholas
Hoult
does better. Is probably the spotlight of the movie. Like,
you're not gonna like what he has to say about Nicholas Hoult then.
Oh fuck. Okay. Oh,
yeah,
God.
But yeah, I thought Mr. Terrific was good. Sorry, I don't know the name of the actor. He just said it. I forgot. But yeah, he's good. And the thing is, right, he's delivering like the comic relief in such a deadpan way, and that I think just works really well, instead of doing like the cheeky,
absolutely,
arrogant, sarcastic type, which is Guy Gardner was doing, which wasn't bad either, but it was very very classic, like James Gunn, like Marvel humor type shit. Him being so deadpan was like great.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the clearly you don't own an air fryer type like humor.
Yeah.
It's just the it's something like a bit more different. I think works tremendously. I just don't think that it's the best part of the movie because there's obviously like more noble performances, but it still is a really good performance because he is, that kind of comedy is something that's not often done in superhero movies, and I think it works very well. I just, it's something that is to be expected, and I think the way it handled is really good, but I wouldn't say it's like the most noble thing of the movie. I just think it's something of note.
Yeah.
But that's just
Pretty
me.
funny and embodied this character so well. I would love to see more of him in the future. Other performances, I don't really have anything negative to say. I don't have anything to say. The titular Superman, he was fine. He was really just good and fine. Nicholas Hoult was good.
That is
I'll
all
say
he
that.
says about David
okay.
Corn Sweat. Yeah, that's everything. That's
Okay.
all. That is what he says about
Thanks.
David Corn Sweat. Like,
Thanks,
yeah,
Karsten.
he was. Yep. I don't know, man.
He was there.
I think there's plenty to be said about like his very naive, like the naivety that he portrays in a character like that, and like the good nature, just like nature of Superman, of being trusting and loving, and the way he smiles is so infectious. Like, I think there's a lot to be said about his
Yeah.
performance that is outside of just like he was fine. I think you're overlooking the subtleties in his performance, and I think a lot of the things that make his performance work are in the subtleties. So yeah, I disagree that he
Yeah.
was just fine. I think Karsten is
I think-
probably do a rewatch.
I think it's really bad to write off like him as just being fine as well, because like it seems so disingenuous to the performance they puts on. I mean, obviously, like people are gonna make that mistake during reviews. Some people are just gonna find the acting fine. It's very clear to me that he didn't rewatch the movie. Like, he's only seen it once. I think that strikes me as something that's very clear to me. Like, I don't think he's rewatched this movie. And I think that's kind of a bad thing, because I think with anything you're covering, you should at least see it twice. That's like a kind of rule I have
That's
when reviewing something. I think it's something that people should take into account as well, because I usually see movies twice in a row if I'm covering it, but I saw Superman 4 times because I just love it that much. But usually when I cover something, I watch something twice because I want to. First time is an experience. Second time, I'm looking for the issues. I'm looking for stuff that parallels with each other to see how it connects. I just don't like this practice of just like, oh, yep, one and done. Time to make the review, because usually you miss so much, and I think it's cool rewatching the movie and talking about the things that you picked up a second time. I don't know. I just think it's I think it's an interesting thing that most reviewers miss out on, especially for a review of this size. This guy's like, what, 700,000 subs, and didn't even watch the movie a second time. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I find that a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna make a review, you should watch the film more than once. I mean, usually I watch the film the first time, and if I'm gonna make a video, I rewatch and take notes and write the script as I'm rewatching, so it's all fresh on my mind when I'm writing it. So yeah, but each person has their own style, and I mean, this style of review, like the 10-minute, well, 8 minutes, because 2 minutes, well, minute and a half was the ad read. But the like a 10-minute review without spoilers can't go into too much detail, in the sense as well. I'm just like, you probably shouldn't do this. I don't like the style of review that doesn't go into detail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
But
absolutely.
I think a lot of people see value in it. Because otherwise he wouldn't have like, an audience. So I don't know. I just don't like the style of review.
Yeah. I think the only time I usually do this style of review, I mean, I obviously try to make it as much substance as possible so people get the most out of it, but I think the only time I usually do this is when I'm like, working on something bigger. I'm like, oh, I gotta put something out, and obviously I don't want to just not upload anything for a month, so I'll just upload this. But even then, I still want to try and get people, like, have people get the most out of the review and see what I actually think about it. If I need to go into spoilers, I will. If I don't, I won't. But yeah, I just think not going into spoilers because you just kind of don't want to is bad, because you have a lot of things to talk about that are spoiler related. Then I think, hey, go for it. Make half your video non-spoiler and make the other half, spoiler related.
Mhm.
No one will care. It's like actually fine. But yeah.
Fine. Nicholas Hoult was good, I'll say that, but he's always good. But that's the thing, for Nicholas Hoult standards, this was pretty by the books, honestly. He screams. It's a good scream. The guy who dropped the ball more
That is
I don't
that is all
is
he
James
says.
Gunn.
That is all he says about Nicholas Hoult.
Really?
He screams, and
Damn.
it's a good scream. It's, I don't know. I think there's a lot to be said about the anger that's bubbling beneath the surface with Lex Luthor and how Nicholas Hoult portrays that. And, the moments of outbursts are so interesting because we see that anger like as part of his character, even when he isn't being like just yelling or pouring all of that anger out. You can tell that he hates Superman with like a passion even before he's doing all that. And I mean, it's when the moments where it subtly comes out, especially like in that first scene where he's like yelling the commands and everything for Ultraman to fight Superman with. Like, I think that moment is just like, you can tell how much he's enjoying this and how much he hates Superman, and he's trying to be all composed and shit. Is like, good job everyone and everything like that, like super like businessman type, but not actually being that because he is being
Yeah.
he
It's so clear that he's trying to hide it.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
like,
think there's a
he's trying to
lot
hide it.
to Nicholas Holt's performance that is more than just he screams and it's a good scream. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's weird.
It's a good scream. The guy who dropped the ball more than anyone here is James Gunn. I don't dislike James Gunn, or I mean, I didn't dislike James Gunn. The Guardians movies have all won me over. Every single one. I think the family dynamic there is fantastic and incredibly enjoyable to watch. If it weren't for those Guardians films, based solely on this, I would think he's the biggest man-child director working today. Whatever this
What the fuck?
She's gonna
I'll let him
qualify it.
continue.
is. It is insufferable to sit through. The climax of this film has the emotional weight of a high school hockey player's senior year Instagram caption. It's amazing that the big line of this thing is, I'm human. For that to be
Sorry.
the
What the fuck?
takeaway after a film of recycled James Gunn beats that were more successful in his other work. This is like the least human film he's ever made.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is a bit
okay,
wild because
okay.
like I think he's mistaking like the I'm human aspect of Guardians for the I'm human aspect of this. Because in the Guardians movies, the I'm human thing is like everyone is unique and flawed, and it's okay to not be special. Like Guardians 2 especially does the like, you would be just like everyone else, and Quill says, what's so wrong with that? Which is arguably my favorite line in the Guardians movies. Where it's like, he's saying I'm human and I'm flawed, and that's good. But in the sense of like, it's okay to not be special because what you do as, is special. In the I'm human in this is like, I am just like you, even though I am special. There's a difference, what I mean? Like, Superman is special, but he's still just trying to do his best and trying to help people. And that's what makes him human, just like living day by day. It's different types of, like, humanity. I think James Gunn just has an appreciation for humanity that he explores in different ways. I don't think it's the same thing of, like, he's doing from Guardians 2. At least not personally.
Yeah, I think that it's really bad that it's like I think the message is pretty clear throughout the movie, and the whole reason he's like, I'm human, is because, like, the whole thing is that Superman makes mistakes, and he makes mistakes throughout the entire movie, but that's kind of the point. He's not supposed to be perfect. He's supposed to be, he's human. The reason why he's human is he fucks up like the rest of us. He gets mad, he gets sad. He even explains it in his monologue. He's like, I get sad, I get angry, but, like, that's what makes me human. And I think it's really weird how he's just like, he's human, but he's not actually human. It's like, yeah, that's not the point, though. I don't know. I don't know how you could misunderstand that, like, really badly, because I think the movie makes it quite clear. Like, it kind of, I wouldn't say it's a very subtle thing at all. It kind of bashes you over head with it, in a good way, of course, but, like, it's still, I think it's very unsubtle what it's trying to do. But that's okay because, you know, that's the whole point of the movie. I don't know. Weird.
The dog
just
is
don't
so
like
half-assed. He just kind of gets used as surface-level emotional manipulation for the audience, not unlike Rocket in the third Guardians film.
Okay, that is the line that broke me. The dog gets used as cheap emotional manipulation for the audience, which is already a bad enough thing to say because it's untrue. Not unlike Rocket in Guardians 3. What are you talking about? Rocket is like the MVP of Guardians 3. What do you mean he's used as cheap emotional manipulation?
Also, Rocket has like 3 movies of character development. Two movies previous to Guardians 3. And I mean, unless you count the holiday special as well, which, you know, I don't know why you would think, oh yeah, emotional manipulation. Like, I just, why? Does he explain this?
No, not really.
At all?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the Guardians 3 thing annoyed me a lot because in Guardians 3, Rocket is the... I don't get how you could say it's emotional manipulation because we've learned who Rocket is throughout the previous 2 movies. And who he is, you know, after the events of the stuff that happened with the High Evolutionary. And in the third one, learning about his past, we completely understand how he came to be who he is, this cynical asshole version of himself, and how he's moved past it by after, you know, finding his family within the Guardians. Like, if you say that's emotional manipulation, I think you just don't like his arc, which is like fair enough, but I don't get it. I don't think Rocket, who's always portrayed as like an asshole in these movies, like that you say he's emotional manipulation. It's weird. I don't get it. And then saying that sorry, go on.
Oh wait, I'll let you continue and then I'll say my thing.
Okay. Well, my thing was like getting back to Superman. Saying that about Krypto is weird because you even pointed it out how Krypto is important for Superman's arc to learning to trust people, and part of like just finding his humanity for how much he cares about Krypto, even though he is a shit dog. Like he said, he's not even a good dog, but he's scared and alone. So, and you know, I gotta go find him. It shows like Superman's heart. So it's important to characterize Superman. So I don't think it's an emotional manipulation. I think it's important for Superman's character and his arc. So, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I just don't, I don't understand that. This is what I mean when it's like you kind of have to watch the movies twice to like, you know, really get the full experience. But I
don't want to like make bad faith assumptions about Carson. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but it seems like he went into the film with a level of cynicism that affected how he saw it, where he interpreted everything from a very surface level point of view. But I think Superman as a film is doing a lot of stuff that is subtextual, that it is, you know, less like, oh, just, the cute dog's here because it's a cute dog and everyone likes cute dogs. It's like, no, there is a purpose for the dog being here. It's important for Superman's character. I think you should be willing to give the movie a little more leeway and just be like, no, the movie is trying to do something with, you know, Krypto. It's not just like doing it because you like, you know, animals. I don't know.
I think he also admits it, like where he's like, oh yeah, I saw the trailers and I was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna like this one. Like I mean, I guess I'll give it a chance. Like it seems very clear that he had a little disdain for it before he went in for it. And maybe I'm wrong, but that is the impression I got, and that is the impression he seems to give when talking about his first impressions before even going into the movie. I mean, I talked about the same thing, but I talked about, like, you know, how much I was hyped for the movie, but I also saw the movie multiple times after that to make sure, you know, I wasn't just, you know, being a little hype boy about it. But no, I just don't, I do think that he went into it kind of with a little bit wanting to hate it. I'm not saying like he went into it fully wanting to hate it, but I do think there's like
I think he went into it with a little negative bias, which I think is fine. I've done that with many films too. It's we're all flawed. I just really think he didn't think through a lot of these criticisms. It was just like taking his baseline like interpretation as he walked out of the theater instead of like thinking if what he was saying was justified. I've done that a lot too with making reviews before I like fully digested it, and it's like I didn't like this. But then once you stop and realize and analyze, oh wait, well, I didn't like this, but does it make sense why you didn't like it? And you start peeling back the layers. Maybe you just didn't have fun with the movie, but there's nothing particularly wrong with it. Some movies are like that.
I know.
So yeah.
A pretty cheap attempt to win over doubters, if I'm being honest, because how can you look at a dog designed to be as cute as possible and not feel something? He throws in a couple classic James Gunny needle drops that aren't terrible, but we've already seen them before. There's nothing special about them here. Everything in Kansas.
I disagree.
The thing is, needle drops are needle drops. I don't know how you're going to reinvent the needle drop. Yeah. And obviously this movie uses music a lot less than the Guardians movies, because the Guardians movies, they're written around music, basically. Like James Gunn has always said that
Peter's character is...
Yeah, like music is an important part of characterizing those movies, and Peter, Quill, and Rocket. I mean, the third movie uses music a lot for Rocket as a character.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like music is an important part of like characterization. In this, not as much, but they still use like the Crab Joys is the name of the band. They still use it quite a bit, and they have the fucking the song that plays at the end,
punk rocker song.
Yeah, like punk rocker and everything. Like that worked really well in terms of tying in the idea that in a world full of like cynicism and capitalist disdain and exploitation of people and dehumanization, that being kind is the new punk rock, which I find like a beautiful message to have. And using that with the soundtrack, I think just rounds it off perfectly, especially playing that at the the final scene when we're seeing like the kindness of Superman's parents. Because the thing with Superman is that he is a good person because of his parents raising him to be a good person. It's it's been explored with like Superman. I forgot, is it Red Sun, the Superman that fell into like the communists or whatever, that became evil?
It's Red Sun.
Yeah, like it's been explored that he had a different upbringing, he wouldn't be this good a person, because obviously the way you're brought up informs who you are as a person. And Maya Park Kent are just fantastic people, and they loved him and showed him all the support he needed to become who he needed to be for the world, to be the hero that he is today. And so like embracing that, like showing the kindness that was given to him from his parents and how that informed him as a character, using that with the song, say he's a punk rocker because of that, I think that works really well. Like that is one of my favorite James Gunn needle drops. And I say that I don't think the needle drops in this movie are anything too special other than that one, but like, I still think he does a really good job with that. I don't know, man. I think again, it's just like a level of cynicism with this movie that I don't understand.
He's the Lex Luthor of Superman reviews.
There's nothing special about them here. Everything in Kansas with Kent's Earth parents was kind of odd to me. They play this moment between him and his dad as though we've known these two forever, which I guess we have as...
I don't think they do. I mean, we get the context we need. Like, what? Do you need to see them as kids and everything? Like, I think, again, he's looking at it very surface level, but the way the movie does it is like, you get all the history between them just from like this conversation. Everything is implied in the same way that like in the Batman, when Commissioner Gordon says like, oh, the kid was the one who found his parents dead or whatever, and you just cut to Batman and we see his eyes, and you're like, that implies his entire history without saying a word, without showing his origin story, without seeing Bruce Wayne's parents die for the millionth time. I think it's the same here, where you just see like Pa Kent talking to Superman, to Clark, and you're just like, yeah, I completely understand the relationship and how he was brought up. We don't need to see any flashbacks or anything like that. Like, that is all implied, and like I feel like showing it would feel a little cheap, in the sense of like, oh, we need a flashback to scene, or we need a scene of him as a kid. Like, I don't think we need that to understand their relationship. So maybe he wanted the film to be a little more handholdy. I disagree with that personally.
Yeah, same.
characters, but isolating this as its own movie, this moment feels weirdly abrupt. And again, the lines feel like they could come from any by-the-books drama from the 80s. There's nothing special about this. Frankly,
I very much disagree. The way he says, it's my favorite line of the movie, what you wanted the second half of the message to be says a hell of a lot about who you are. It's like, yes, that is my Superman. He wanted the message from his parents to be hopeful, because he is that hopeful, because he is that kind, and he is that, wonderful, and that's how they raised him to be. I think that implies a whole lot of history between them, and it characterizes Superman perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't get this whole thing of like, it sounds like it came from like an 80s or any drama. It's like, sure, but even if it like did, like you said, which I've seen a couple of 80s dramas, they do not sound like this. That like it works within the context of the movie and the things that the movie is trying to say. It works within the context of what Park Kent says. So sure, if the line you think is cliched, I think what he's trying to say is that it's cliched, not that he's heard it like a billion times from like different dramas. Then sure, like, I mean, cliches are used in every part of the movie, but like it works within the context of the movie, no matter what you think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All the major emotional beats of this feel unfinished and like rough drafts, maybe because they are. Because there's so many fucking plot lines meant to latch onto so many different viewers that nothing gets a proper arc that leads to anything satisfying. Like any man.
Yeah.
Do we need to like address that?
I mean, we've already mentioned it, but it's just like he needs to qualify. What do you mean? What are the different plot? I think it's the same issue. I think Carson has the same issue with this movie as a lot of people do with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they just think there's too much stuff because there's like more than one faction, but they all work under the same, like, I keep calling him Netanyahu. That's who he is, right? I forgot the fucking name. Gorkas. Yeah, that's the name. The fucking president of Bavaria. He is in theory a villain in this movie, but he's working with Lex. It's all part of Lex's plan, and he dies. He's a villain, you could say. And it's the same as like, yeah, Electro is a villain in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and there's the Green Goblin. But they're all working like for the same thing. They're all part of the same plot. You just think it's too much because it's like there's like two separate fights. There's the Justice Gang versus the Bavarian soldiers, and there's Superman versus Lex's army and Ultraman and everything. But like it's all part of the same plot, and once one is resolved, the other also is. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just don't get this. It feels like kind of caveman like brain criticism, where it's like too many different plotline happening at the same time, too big for my brain. I don't want to like call him stupid or anything, because that's but when I hear it, I immediately think of like caveman criticisms, where it's just like, oh, there's too much happening for me, I can't comprehend it. And it's just like, I mean, it's pretty simple to follow along if you pay attention to it. Like, if you pay attention to what's going on in the movie, it's they try to make it as easy as possible to follow along. Like, I guess there's a couple things that happen in the movie that, like, maybe a bit too much, but like, I mean, overall, like, it's a pretty simple premise to follow along. It's not fucking David Lynch movies or anything, like, where you're gonna have to like question every single scene that's in the movie, and it's not really like Perfect Blue either. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really get these points. Maybe I mean, I've seen the movie 4 times, so maybe that's just my bias coming from having seen the movie 4 times. But I saw it once, and I was able to understand it pretty well.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty straightforward. Yeah, I know. Obviously, I posted my my episode of the Sky and Evan in the Morning podcast earlier today, and Evan, he didn't like very much the Bavaria shit. He thought it should have been more focused on Lex or made more as background stuff, because it kind of felt like tacked on. I disagree, but I think like few people have said that stuff, like the political and everything aspect of Bavaria, and I forgot the fake Palestine's name, Yatur, whatever, something with J.
Yeah, fucking Yavin, fucking Star Wars.
Yes, Yavin, sure. Yeah, it's with the J. That's all I remember.
Let's call it Yavin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Javin.
Yeah. So yeah. Point being, I thought it was pretty straightforward, and I thought it connected itself pretty well. I think people would think it doesn't, maybe need a rewatch because I think it connects better than people give it credit for. Obviously, I've only seen the film once, so maybe, I'm wrong. But you seem to be of that opinion too, and you've seen the film 4 times, so I don't know.
Yeah, going to see it a fifth.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
Nerd.
hell yeah.
Absolute nerd.
Man child who's satisfied where he is. He found his thing, and that thing is corny jokes, safe, enjoyable needle drops, heavily animated one-er shots that are meant to read as true cinema.
I don't think this is safe. I don't think this is a safe. Like, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, calling this
from
movie
what you
safe
could,
is kind of weird considering how very clearly it criticizes Israel and American imperialism, especially in a time where Trump is, president and America is swinging
I feel like it's
back.
very.
Yeah, it's America's swinging back into the right-wing conservatism thing, and this movie's very clearly like what these people would call woke.
Against that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say this movie is very bold because, we're in the style of criticism where it's like, oh, go woke, go broke. If you do something at work, then the movie's not going to perform well. And this movie is clearly a criticism towards all those people who are like, oh yeah, like you said, right-wing conservatism. And also to those people who say, oh yeah, if you're woke, you go broke, because this movie's clearly performing well, and people who say that are now having to go back on it, being like, this movie is not political at all, trying to
it's very funny seeing Tim Pool say that when this movie's very clearly political.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So I think saying that it plays it safe is not good, because it very much doesn't play it safe. I mean, I guess as a superhero movie, sure, but I mean, for Superman, I mean, out of every superhero movie I've seen, for like the past few years, this is probably one of the more bold ones. Because of how much it's willing to, like, experiment a little bit. It is a classic superhero story.
It is a classic superhero story, but it's like Jeb said, it's deconstructing Superman, as in like not in the way Zack Snyder did, to make him like evil and like God and everything, but in the sense of like what makes Superman Superman. It's his heart and not his powers, and that's what's interesting about him. Like that's how we find out who Superman is, like true. Like the true power of Superman is his kindness, which feels extremely corny to say, but yeah, it is what it is in this movie, and that's like, I feel like it's a pretty bold direction to take a movie like this. Instead of just like doing the safe, like, oh, Superman, he's so powerful, he's like God, which has become the norm. Like I would say the like evil Superman trope is much safer than doing a Superman this.
It's so easy to criticize Superman, like as a as like, because even like characters in DC do it, like, oh, he's a Boy Scout and everything. It's so easy to do. That's way more safer. Like The Boys does it, and they have like 5 seasons. Or, well, the 5th season's being made, but they have 5 seasons just criticizing the whole evil Superman thing and getting away with very safe. Like, I think a lot of people misunderstand why The Boys gets criticized for its politics. It's not because, like, it's very left leaning and it's very out there. It's just because they don't do anything with the politics. They just say, oh yeah, this is the politics. It feels like they have a checklist they go through, like, oh yeah, what do we do now? This is
what's happening in the real world.
And
okay, so let's address that. It's not anything.
They don't address it in any meaningful way. They just say it how it is, and it's just like, okay, well, I'm glad that we got that out of the way then. Whereas here it's very clearly building towards the Bulgaria fucking Yavin conflict. It's clearly building towards something, and it's part of a much bigger story in this movie. But yeah, I don't agree with the safe thing at all.
Cinema when they're basically entirely computer generated. Middle fingers coming out of the ground because, oh boy, that's a little edgy. Stopping
that I think is so stupid, because the entire point is that Guy Gardner thinks he's super cool, and that's why he does this kind of shit, but it's not actually. I think it's the same thing where, like, people misunderstand James Gunn's characters, where some people think Peter Quill's supposed to be cool. Peter Quill is a loser, and James Gunn gets that. And that's what makes Peter Quill so cool, is that he is a loser. He is a fucking nerd about music and films, and he thinks he's Star-Lord. Like he said, like the first movie, they make fun of that so much that his name is Star-Lord. It's like, Star who? Like, nobody knows, because he is a loser. That's what's cool. Cares. Yeah, that's what's cool about Peter Quill. He thinks he's cool, but he's not. It's the same thing as Guy Gardner. He thinks he's cool, but he's not. What's actually cool, what makes these characters cool, is embracing like honesty. It's what I love. Because I made a video about this type of thing, about metamodernism, and it's what I love about James Gunn, is that he uses like that honesty that is very like, it's postmodernist, because postmodernism is all about like, oh, everything sucks, oh, criticizing itself, and not actually having any solutions. And the metamodernism is about like finding the honesty and the optimism within those criticisms of one's of society in general, and of the context within. Like this movie does that by having Superman be like an inspiration for the Justice Gang, by just being kind. Like, everyone looks up to Superman. The kids all love him because he is kind, because he is the Boy Scout. And that's what makes Guy Gardner actually like finally accept to help Superman in the third act, to be like, you know what, like, I want to help people, I want to be a role model for these kids. So it's it is a play on that, of like, I forgot what the original point was, sorry. What was the point? I kept yapping.
Warner shots that are meant to read as true cinema when they're basically entirely
Guy Gardner, I think.
Middle fingers.
Oh yeah, the middle finger. So my point being, Guy Gardner is a loser, but he learns that what being cool is not actually being this arrogant smartass who kills people and everything, is that it's helping people, and that's what makes you cool. It's the Justice Gang and everything, like it's having a heart. That's what's cool, and stopping like criticizing like everything and like being so ashamed to be who they are. It's embracing honesty. And Superman is a symbol of that honesty and of that hope. Like, Superman is a symbol of that, like, for media, which is how the meta part comes for the metamodernism within this movie, but also just like in universe as well. So I really like how they do that, and I think it makes perfect sense for Guy Gardner to do that, to be like super edgy and everything, because it's just who he is. He's a little bit of a loser who thinks he's cool. It's also why I like that Lois called out his fucking haircut. It's like, he thinks he's cool. He genuinely does, but he's not.
Yeah.
And he needs to remember he is a loser. And what makes one cool is not like how you look or the way you act, the way you act in terms of like arrogance and everything, but it's having a good heart. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of the ground because, oh boy, that's a little edgy. Stopping the self-exploration at I'm human and I'm flawed. Shooting cleavage in 2025 like it.
Bro, it's Cat Grant. What do you mean?
Yeah,
like the entire thing with Cat Grant is that she, sexualizes herself. It's like her character.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, are we complaining about a fucking cleavage in 2025? Like, I mean, I feel like it happens in a lot of movies.
Well, yeah, it's because he thinks he's sexualizing women, but like the only character who does that is Cat Grant, and that's just like her character, right, from the comics. Like, that's So
yeah, he's just making it comic accurate, which, like, I mean, they point out a lot, like with the hypno glasses and everything. He's just trying to make things comic accurate, to appease not only like comic fans but also like not normal fans. Like, it's not that serious.
2005. What are we doing, man? It basically reads like a high school boy getting the opportunity to direct a massive multi-million-dollar movie. A multi-million-dollar movie with the stupid fucking goal of kicking off a new cinematic universe. Great. What I'm about to say is a little...
I think that's stupid. I think that... Here's the thing. I think people don't like the idea of cinematic universes anymore because Marvel has oversaturated it so much. I think it's really cool.
I think it's very cool, and I think it has worked for comics. I think the thing that is not just Marvel, but everyone has tried to do connected universes. Like, Sony tried with the Spider-Man villains, and they had the fucking Mummy. Remember that? How they wanted to do the dark universe. And there's the Conjuring movies, and they have like the super like horror universe with all the fucking like. There's like 15 movies that are canon to the Conjuring universe. It's insane. Most of them are bad. Some are good,
yeah.
but yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, it's like Annabelle and The Conjuring and The Nun. And you know, it's like all of that is all canon in the same universe with fucking Ed and Lorraine. I mean, it's crazy. So like everyone has tried to do the connected universes, and obviously Marvel initiated that. But
Oh yeah.
Marvel has helped saturate the market, but it's not just Marvel. It's other things that have also tried to do that. That people, everyone just like, and obviously the DCEU being so bad. So like people think cinematic universes are inherently bad, but they are cool. And if you do it right, and now with all the experience that James Gunn has from the MCU, he can definitely make the DCU work right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no doubt about it. I think that like a lot, like I think people have just gotten so sick of it that they're just like, oh, it's another cinematic universe. That's terrible. But it's clear that Gunn has ideas on what he wants to do with this universe. It's not just something that he's doing for the fuck of it. He actually is very passionate about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I like that take, but I can understand where it's coming from.
Yeah, I completely
you know.
understand feeling and disliking the idea of cinematic universes. I just think it's again a surface level criticism that doesn't address the issue. It's the same thing we were talking about with superhero fatigue. So yeah.
A little crazy. So you might want to sit down for this one. But at least the Minecraft movie had the decency to know what it was. To know it was a movie for children, and then put in about as much emotional weight as something like that could handle. That's a movie.
Okay, so he's saying the Minecraft movie handles its tone and its story better than the Superman movie, yeah. I think I broke Rob. You okay there, bud?
That is so fucking stupid. I think that's the dumbest thing I've heard in like I gotta say like probably like 3 or 4 months. I don't know. I don't keep track of how many stupid. Oh my god. Oh, that's so dumb. Thank you, Carsten. That's like the dumbest thing I've heard in a while. The Minecraft movie. The Minecraft. I mean, yeah, the Minecraft movie. No, I mean, I guess it knows what it is. I guess if you want to get.
That's something that I don't like about what he says. Let me rewind so we can hear it again.
What I'm about to say is a little crazy, so you might want to sit down for this one. But at least the Minecraft movie had the decency to know what it was. To know it was a movie for children, and then put in about as much emotional weight as something like that could handle.
See, this is what I find stupid, because children's movies can handle a lot of emotional weight. I mean, we've seen Toy Story, we've seen WALL-E, like, stupid. This is a very weird take. Very weird take. Like, children's movies can be very deep. Like, The Lion King. Yeah. Like, it's weird. Weird take.
Sorry, I'm trying to calm down, because even on rewatch, that made me fucking laugh. No, like, I mean, look at Spider-Verse, for example. Like, Into the Spider-Verse has a lot of, like, really deep emotional themes that go into it, especially with, like, Miles Morales being put on film for the first time. That's the first Black Spider-Man, like, to be put on film. Like, it's so much to say, and there's so much weight behind, like, a lot of the story decisions that have been made. And I feel like reducing it down to, it's just a children's movie, so therefore this. I mean, the children's movie argument has been done to death for a long time, and everyone's proved why it's a bad thing to say, like, it's just a kid's movie. Because it obviously reduces the product. The Minecraft movie is very much just a kid's movie, and it doesn't want to try and be anything more than that, because, of course, it's just a movie that wants money. It's not anything that doesn't have anything that's passionate about that movie. It's very much a soulless company movie, but just saying that about any children's movie just feels wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. And saying that about the Superman movie that doesn't know what it wants to be or doesn't know what it wants to say, that is insane. That is an insane take.
Yeah.
Because it does. It knows what it wants to be. It's just that you clearly didn't understand what it was trying to go for. And I don't like being that person who's like, you didn't understand the movie, because, you know, everyone's experiences are different. But like, I mean, you kind of didn't understand the movie. But yeah, anyway.
That's a movie that knows what it is. It's not a good thing, but at least it knows that. I guess, to put it simply, there's nothing that annoys me more than a movie for babies acting like it's an edgy movie for adults.
This movie is not edgy at all. I think it's the opposite of edgy.
Yeah, I don't. What exactly is edgy? I mean, I guess there's
the only
two
edgy
scenes
thing
that
he
you could probably
mentioned
count
is
as
the
edgy.
fucking like middle finger thing from Guy Gardner. Is the only thing
But
he
that's
mentioned.
like
is
once.
yeah, and even then,
Yeah, that's like
I've
once
talked
throughout
about
the
that. It's
movie.
not edgy. It's part of characterization, and showing how that's not
Yeah.
actually edgy.
The edginess is like the whole joke. Like he's not like he's trying to be cool, but he's actually just not.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Pretending like it's anything profound about the world when it's evident it doesn't have the maturity to do that. This has...
And then I need a qualifier to understand that, because I disagree. I think it has plenty of maturity in the way it handles the conflict, and mentioning the conflict with I mean, fucking the scene, the interview scene early on in the film. I think that's a very good example of a film that knows exactly what it's about like a man fighting for kindness, and how like the world isn't like meant to operate around that. Like there's socio-political ramifications for him stopping the Bavarian Javan War. But, you know, he doesn't care. All he wants is to keep people from dying. Like, you have someone with a very simple, basic, like, moral spine, and the world doesn't bend around him, but it should. That's what the movie has to say. That, like, we need people like him that are, you know, just good at heart, and, you know, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think maybe the only reason he's saying this is because the movie is very lighthearted and doesn't take itself seriously. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously. Although it's kind of weird, since he said earlier that it tries to take itself too seriously. So I don't know what he's trying to say actually. I thought it, like, my whole thing originally was I thought he thought it was too goofy, but now he's saying it's trying to take itself too seriously. So
I think he's saying it's both. Like, the movie's too goofy to take itself seriously, and it takes itself too seriously to be like a children's movie. And so it ends up not, like, being too safe. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Has the smug attitude of thinking it's better than those other superhero movies. Like, this is James Gunn we're talking about, baby. This is some real cinema. But let's not get too carried away. It's also supposed to feel like a Saturday morning cartoon, but it's also supposed to say something about today's political climate. Also supposed to be a DC film that's meant to kick off this new epic cinematic universe. You put all those lovely things together, and what you end up with is a confused mess that feels more lost about what the future of superhero films looks like than the Thunderbolts. Now that's impressive.
Yeah, I disagree with that completely. I think the movie is being all the things he mentioned, but it knows that, and it's succeeding in that, and I don't think there's any part of it that feels half-assed. I think all of it works fairly well, of establishing this new universe and establishing this new character, and being, you know, like a Saturday morning cartoon in the sense of, like, very heartwarming and very, like, yes, kindness wins all, and also having something to say about the state of the universe with the world building of the DCU. So I don't know. I think it all works fairly well in a package that is presented well. I would need, like, way more qualifiers to like understand his point, but I disagree.
I think it's also the thing of, like, he's also saying that, like, it's trying to be a Saturday morning cartoon, when a lot of Saturday morning cartoons say a lot about, like, socio-political climates and everything. Like, a lot of them have before, and they've touched on that deep subjects while trying to make it for children. So I mean, I don't really know. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's very confusing what he's, like, saying at the point. I mean, I know what he's trying to say, but it's very, you know, it's very clear he didn't give the movie much thought beyond, like, a surface level you know, description of it. So, you know.
Basically, even if this had a few redeemable qualities, this was borderline insufferable, and quite honestly, a step backwards in my eyes. And That's what I got. Thanks for watching. Go watch Superman and form your own opinion. And if you still don't hate me, I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Bad video.
That was a video. Yeah, that was truly the video of all time.
Very much a video of all time, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say other than I think all what I said about him originally was right, that he saw the movie once. He went into it with a bit of a negative bias, which we've all done
been
that
there,
before. Yeah, like I don't want to pretend to be all high and mighty because I'm not. I've done that sort of shit before as well. But he doesn't explore the film beyond any kind of beyond any sort of depth. He just like tries to look at it for what he thinks it is, just like very surface level observations. Just like the dog is cute, the like Superman is like just a regular hero, and I feel like he doesn't get any of the nuances that go into the film because he doesn't describe any of the nuances, which makes me think he didn't pick upon any of them. So I'm kind of bad. I mean, I saw like the first half of this video like yesterday, but I stopped watching because I was just like, this is so fucking stupid. I couldn't keep watching, but like seeing it in its whole, I now think that this is even more fucking stupid, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. For all I know, he's made better videos, but damn, this was not.
Yeah,
it. I gotta say.
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of Karsten. No hate against him as a person or anything. I've not liked the content he's made that I've seen, and I don't really like his reviews and ratings. Like, I usually disagree with him. I would have stayed away from this video, but a friend of mine messaged me this video yesterday. I was like, hey, do you want to check this out? There's a specific line that I think is gonna be very interesting for you to hear. I was like, okay. And it was the Minecraft line, but my brain broke before when he mentioned the fucking Guardians 3 Rocket thing. Because, like, that genuinely, like, pissed me off. Like, what do you mean Rocket was used in cheap emotional manipulation in Guardians 3? Like, he has a whole fucking arc. That was weird to me. Yeah, but
so
yeah, I don't know. I mean, no hate to Karsten, you know. I'm sure he's made some good videos as well. But yeah, it's
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this video than bad, very bad. Don't like it. But I mean, the only reason I knew about like his like Superman take is because someone commented on my Superman video being like, "Oh yeah, his video is so fucking awful. I had to watch this one to refresh it." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Wait, what?" So when I did watch it, when I did like take a look at it, I'm like, oh wow, this is fucking bad. I'm not gonna continue watching that. Little did I know it would come back to bite me in the ass for the stream.
I had something
that's
planned.
Actually perfect. Yeah, that is actually, that couldn't have been even more perfect if you tried. Like that is probably the best video we could have covered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good place to wrap it up. Unless you
No, I think think that we've naturally reached the end of the stream. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thank you all for tuning in. This is the first episode of SKYENET, and I don't know how often we're gonna do this. I'm guessing it's like a weekly thing. We haven't really discussed that.
Yeah, we haven't discussed it, but I forgot to mention that to you. But yes, I was hoping to do it weekly. Yes.
Yeah. Then yes, it is going to be a weekly thing, which I think it is going to be quite good because, you know, so I find these types of things very fun. I think it's fun to talk about media, and I also think it's good because it gives the channel some kind of consistency. So I mean, we'll probably be doing this like the same day every week, or like around like the same day every week. So yeah, if you liked what you saw, then, you know, tune in for next time. But yeah, thank you for tuning in to the stream. Check out Sky. She she makes her videos, and she's got her own podcast too with Evan,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot shorter than this one that we did. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for a more bite-sized version,
Yeah.
yeah,
we
what
released an
we've been
episode
doing.
about Superman this morning, and Evan had interesting things to say. He did not like it nearly as much as we did. So if you want to hear like an alternate take where someone wasn't like still liked the movie but wasn't the biggest fan, you want to hear some, I would say, fairer criticisms to the movie than what Carsten said, I would recommend checking that out. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we're there. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.